Fowler, hard rim. Lyon, lost it. Blue center, and then Snuggerud swings and misses. No glove. No glove on the hand of the goalie. The Sabres shoot and score to the empty net.
Wow, oh, wow, oh, wow.
4-2 Buffalo, 1:16 to go, third period.
We saw a little bit of consistency coming right before the break, except for the Tampa game. We thought we had 4 games in a row where it did, but consistency has evaded us tonight. And consistency with relishing your roles within our habits and details and just winning your one-on-one battle. And the game's a simple game. In the end, you win your one-on-one battle, you get puck support offensively or defensively, you have the advantage. And we're not doing that enough.
That's what it sounded like last night. The more things change, the more they remain the same. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. We got one more live show this week for you here on BK
Live and local.
Ferrario. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. You can check us out on YouTube, as always, at youtube.com/101ESPN-STL. That's where Mack Brown, a national championship winning college football coach.
I'm not going to clap until we know it is Mack Brown.
He'll join us coming up in about 10 minutes here on BK and Ferrarios. So check that out over on YouTube at youtube.com/101ESPN-STL. If you're wondering, wait, why are you guys having Mack Brown on the show?
Yeah.
Well, 2 reasons. 1, because the guy's an unbelievable college football coach, and I want to talk to him about college football. But 2, he hired Mizzou's offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, when Mack Brown was the head coach at North Carolina. Mack and Chip had some success with a guy by the name of Drake May, who's now the favorite to win the MVP this season because T-Bone's guy, Matt Stafford, peed down his leg last night. So we'll talk to him about Drake May as well, but all of that coming up here in just a little bit.
He really did pee down his leg, T-Bone.
Dude, it was so
God,
bad.
your team's awful.
God, that was so bad.
We want to talk about awful. Let's talk about what I watched on the ice last night.
You want to talk tonight? Let's do it.
I still think that the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, but they give me no reason to believe that half the time. They lose to the Panthers. They just can't play the NFC South.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like, if they can avoid the
Luckily, only one of
NFC
them made
South
the
in the
playoffs.
playoffs, they might be okay. Team that just can't win no matter what, though, is the St. Louis Blues. Alex, what? Every time with this team,
Talk about pee down your leg.
it feels like they just can't avoid having another conversation about one of their top players. And last night, it's Jordan Kyrou, who has once again come under fire for a couple of bad plays, and then he's benched down the stretch. You're down by a goal, and we can't possibly play our best goal scorer. Here's Jim Montgomery on what Kyrou needs to do better.
Yeah, he needs to move his feet. He's a weapon when he moves his feet, and he's skating, and he's creating turnovers, and he's carrying pucks wide. And I just didn't see him doing those things tonight.
So that's on Kyrou specifically. Now let's talk about the team as a whole on what happened with the goals against last night. There were 4 of them.
You know, we're running a face-off play. We put it in the skates, jackhammer it in skates, goes the other way. But, the other 2 goals, it's them making plays and us not taking away time and space and killing plays. It's just not the intensity in the way we approach one-on-one battles today. It's not at the standard that we're going to accept.
They've played 40 hockey games. They've won 15 of them, Alex.
They were almost halfway through, man.
I mean, we can specify this on Kyrou. Sure, that's fine. I know that's what a lot of people want to do. He's become the whipping boy here in St. Louis. We always do this with somebody. It's not just Kyrou.
No, it's not just Kyrou.
I'm not going to defend him today because he didn't play well, but the team didn't play well last night. They finished with 4 high-danger chances. 4 at 5-on-5. For the entire game, they had 4 high-danger chances. I mean,
You had 9 shots on
games that way.
You had 9 shots on goal in the last 2 periods. That was the same amount you had in the first period. Here's my issue with it. Did Kyrou have a bad game? Yeah. And Jim Montgomery talked about Kyrou because he was asked about Kyrou. He played 4 shifts in the 3rd period, and they said, why? He gave you that answer. There were times that, Kyrou was not skating. There were times that Jordan Kyrou watched plays happen and then decided to react. That's not going to work out for us. Like, Jim Montgomery is trying to set a standard that if you're not going to play consistent from start to finish, you're not going to play. Here's my issue and why it's like, God, I'm so sick of talking about Jordan Kyrou. Because if we're going to hold Jordan Kyrou to these standards, then you need to hold the other top guys to these standards.
Absolutely.
Because that jackhammer pass into the skates he's talking about, That was Logan Mailloux. But guess whose skates it went into that lost the puck to a defenseman? Pavel Buchnevich. And guess what happened when he lost the puck? It went the opposite direction, turned into a 3-on-2, and Buffalo scores. There were 3 plays last night where I saw offensive chances by Robert Thomas where he missed the net completely. He was in on a breakaway, missed the net, and then looked up to the ceiling, those banner readers that we're known for, and then skated back to the bench with his eyes at the ceiling the whole way. Jim Montgomery talks about next shift speed, next play speed. What he means by that is when a play doesn't happen, you can't get frustrated and sit there and stare at the boards and slowly skate back to the bench so that the line change doesn't happen. You got to get right back into the play. So if I'm going to sit here and listen to more people complain about Jordan Kyrou and how, he didn't skate tonight and he didn't play up to the standards, fine. But I'm going to hold the same guys that are on the ice that should be held to the same responsibilities as Jordan Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou did not play well, nor did Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich. So frankly, and I know you're trying to win that hockey game last night, you should have sat all 3 of them. You should have went out there and said, we're going to put Dvorsky, Neighbors, we're going to put Stenberg out here on the ice and let these guys go play. That's the part that I'm frustrated with. I understand what Jim Montgomery's doing. He's trying to set the standard so that Dvorsky, Neighbors, Stenberg, they're not looking towards Thomas, Buchnevich, and Kyrou being like, well, they're getting away with it. They're playing 18 minutes a night. That's what he's trying to accomplish. But I don't know how you accomplish that when you're talking about Kyrou in this sense, but Thomas and Buchnevich are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think one of their big issues right now is they just don't have the team they thought they did. And I'm not talking about just personnel-wise, that they're just not living up to their expectations. None of them. And when you have a team that's underperforming the way that they have so far this year, everybody just finds themselves frustrated and everybody's trying to do a little too much. Or like last night, Kyrou had a bad night. He did not play well. I'm not going to sit here and defend the way that Kyrou performed. If you want to bench him, so be it. That's fine. But it's been all season. We are talking about one game when the story is really we have played half of the season here in St. Louis. We're 40 games into this thing. And they have 15 wins. They're one of, by the NHL draft standings, one of the worst teams in the NHL this season. That's not a Kyrou problem. That's not just a Thomas problem. That's not just a Buchnevich problem. That's not just a Logan Mailloux problem. That's not just a Jordan Binnington problem. It's an everybody problem. This team has not been able to live up to expectations. So I just get very tired of talking about everything in the micro and reacting to what the most recent thing is that we have seen from the Blues, when in reality, it's so much more about what the big picture of the team is, where they're at, what it's going to be, how they get this thing back on track, and if they can get this thing back on track. And the time when I'll start to believe, because they are both one of the worst teams in the NHL and also like 3 points out of a playoff spot right now, which speaks to where the Western Conference is currently. The time when I will be willing to change my approach on how we talk about the Blues is when they win 3 in a row. Because they have failed to do so yet. We are halfway through the season, and not once have they earned the opportunity to have a true winning streak, which is 3 games in a row. Once they do that, I think it'll be time to actually have a real conversation on whether or not this team can go on some kind of a run. We said this exact same thing with them a year ago, and they finally had that run. And it took place after that Four Nations face-off, and they went on a crazy run, which we all had a hell of a lot of fun watching. But right now, this looks like a shell of the team that we saw a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the game standards, this is anything different. I mean, they'll play a couple of games well, and you're like, oh, hey, they figured it out. And then play the egg. Florida played well. Winnipeg played well. Tampa Bay. This is what happens. And, we had Steve Ott on postgame last night, and I got to ask him, the difference between the first period and the second period. Because I thought in the first period, they figured it out. They were playing well. They were hitting. They were creating offensive opportunities. And he said, yeah, we lost momentum and we never knew how to get it back. And I said, how do you get that back? He said, we have to have somebody step on the ice that can just take the game over. They don't have that. And it is very apparent that they don't have it. Even when Robert Thomas took the game over with that penalty kill opportunity, when he basically dangled 3 players and got scoring chances, he missed the net. So you don't have the guy that can step on the ice and just take that game. And until the Blues get that, it's why this lineup has been a revolving door. It's why we've seen guys go in and out of the lineup, guys move to the top line, play on the fourth line. Everybody is moving around. People are frustrated. Jim Montgomery, why does he keep moving these lines around? Because nobody is taking the opportunity that is presented in front of them. So, yeah, I've said this probably 5 or 6 different times in the last month when they start to play well, and I say I'm not going to get pulled back in. It's not happening anymore because there's a DNA problem with this roster, and I think Jim Montgomery is doing everything possible to fix it. The players aren't responding to it.
He's Alex Ferrario. That is Tanner Hendrickson, and I'm Brandon Kiley. You've got BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. If you guys want to get involved in the show, 314-399-9646. That is the Air Comfort Service text line to do so. All the Blues have ahead of them on Wednesday night is a matchup against the Colorado Avalanche, a team that has lost in regulation twice all season and once since Halloween. It is almost New Year's.
I'm not saying this to make fun of. I truly wonder if Colorado's going to put 10 up.
I mean, they're unbelievable.
They might destroy that man-to-man defense that the Blues play with how fast they are.
They're amazing. They're on a record-setting pace right now, and I don't know how the Blues go into Colorado
for 70 wins
and beat that team. All right, coming up in about 15 minutes or so here on BK and Ferrario, we'll be joined by our friend, our weekly guest, Mike McKenna, former NHL goalie.
Poor guy.
Once again to discuss the Blues coming off of a loss. But coming up next, really excited about this, Alex. When I was a kid, the guy that got me into college football was Vince Young. He was my favorite player growing up. Mack Brown was the head coach at the University of Texas, one of the best teams that I've ever seen assembled in the early 2000s. He's going to join us, not to talk about those early 2000s Texas team, but because he hired Chip Lindsey, Mizzou's new offensive coordinator, when Mack was the head coach at North Carolina. We're going to learn more about Chip Lindsey next here on 101 ESPN. It's not every day you get an opportunity to catch up with a college football Hall of Famer, but that is exactly what we have the chance to do today here on BK and Ferrario. We are thrilled to be joined via the Callier and Thompson hotline by the College Football Hall of Famer, a national championship winning head football coach at the collegiate level, Mack Brown, former Texas head coach, former North Carolina head coach, joins us now here on BK and Ferrario. Mack, alongside Alex Ferrario, I'm Brendan Kiley. Sincerely appreciate you hopping on with us today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Brandon. It's a fun time of the year. I always loved rivalry week, and now you got bowl game week, and then you've got playoffs. So it doesn't get any better than this for college football fans.
It's the absolute best. I do want to ask you a little bit about the landscape of college football and also what you're anticipating going into this weekend with the playoff. But I want to start. The reason that we wanted to have you on today is because you have a history with the new Missouri offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey. You hired him as your OC at North Carolina. You had a guy by the name of Drake May that had a little bit of success with you guys there, and now he's the MVP favorite in the NFL. I'm curious, just from a 10,000-foot view, Mack, what led you to hire Chip Lindsey as your offensive coordinator? What was the draw for you with him?
Brandon, when I first went to North Carolina in 2019, they had won 5 games over the last 2 years, and they were really struggling. And so 3 wins, 2 wins. So I had to try to figure out what to do. So we had to have some excitement. We didn't have great players, but there was a quarterback in Charlotte named Sam Howell, and he could really play. So I hired Phil Longo, and he was run and shoot. It was Mike Leachish, and I thought we got to score some points. And then he stayed for 3 years, and then Drake played a year and was National Player of the Year, and he did for us all the things he's doing now. And then Longo goes to Wisconsin. So Drake's making a little money at North Carolina. He gets offered 5 times as much to leave. So he comes in my office and he said, Coach, all this rumors about me leaving, I love it here. I love you. I'm staying. So don't worry about that. I said, well, we need to come up with some money and help you, and we'll pay you some. But I said, listen, Coach Longo's leaving. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, what do you want? You're going to stay. What are you looking for? And he said, I'm looking for somebody to help me with my feet. I'm looking for somebody to help me with my throwing motion. He said, I drift too much in the pocket. I drift into the pressure sometimes. Coach, I want a teacher. I want somebody who can help us win all the games, but prepare me better for the NFL. So I had about 5 names, and I started looking, and then you got to figure out who you can afford, and you got to figure out who fits you and the place. And I didn't know anything about Chip. Chip's name kept coming up, and then you start looking. Chip coached in high school, and he was a prominent high school coach in Georgia. Coach of the year many years. He ran the spread offense, and then he becomes the offensive coordinator for Todd Monken, who's one of the best in the country at calling plays at Southern Miss. And then he went to Todd Graham, who was a tough defensive guy as Arizona State's offensive coordinator, then Gus Malzahn. And we needed to run the ball better because we weren't running it much with a run and shoot. So I told Drake, why don't you interview guys with me? I'll get it down to 2 or 3. And then I want you to talk to them separately in the interview than myself. And then I had to hope that we both came up with the same name, because if not, I was probably going to have to hire who he wanted anyway. He was going to be better for us than I was coming back. So he talked to Coach Lindsey, and he was all in. He loved it. So Chip came, and we had a really good staff. Drake, again, was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, obviously, a first-round draft pick. And he and Chip just really hit it off. And Chip had 2 guys already in the NFL as quarterbacks. So he knew that the next one was coming. Then Drake leaves us, and we've got Max Johnson, a transfer from A&M and LSU, that's going to be our quarterback. 3rd quarter of the Minnesota game, he breaks his hip. He's out for the year. So we don't have a quarterback with any experience. So then Chip has to change what he's doing and basically lean heavily on Omarion Hampton, who was a great running back and a first-round draft choice to the Chargers. So Chip's a guy that's going to do whatever he needs to do to win the game, and that's really important. He's 51 years old. He's got a lot of energy. He's a very positive, upbeat guy. The fans will really like him. He's not selfish at all. He's not flashy. He's not going to be a guy that's talking about him all the time. But he leaves North Carolina, and then he goes to Michigan, works for an offensive line coach, and Coach Moore, and then he coaches Bryce Underwood, who's one of the most highly recruited quarterbacks in the country. So he's a guy that's going to attract a really good quarterback at Missouri if you're looking in the portal, because of his experiences before he got to North Carolina and having back-to-back Drake May and Bryce Underwood. That's going to get a young quarterback's attention. And he and Eli are friends. They've known each other. He then became the head coach at Troy. He did a good job at Troy, and then we were able to hire him back from Gus Malzahn when he was at Central Florida. But he's experienced. He's tough. He's smart. He's going to handle the pressure. I know with Eli being a play caller, I was a play caller. It's hard sometimes for an offensive coordinator to come in and call plays when your head coach is a play caller. He can handle that because he's done that. He's been the head coach and he's been the play caller. And I just think he is a tremendous hire.
Mackey, you breaking that down perfectly of just what Chip Lindsey is. I think Mizzou fans hear this and hear you talking about him being a teacher with the quarterback, and that's where they really hone in, because it's where Mizzou has lacked finding that quarterback. Just if you don't mind, dive a little deeper into that relationship that he's had with quarterbacks and how he's developed them at the college football level.
There's a tremendous amount of pressure on quarterbacks now because of social media. And everybody talks about every little thing they do. It's over talked about. The throwing motion, the footwork, the thinking, the timing. And Chip is the guy that you're really going to trust. He's a gentleman. He's not a cusser. He's not a screamer. He's a talker. And he's just going to be you've got to have a guy that the quarterback trusts enough that when he tells him something, he's going to believe that it works. And because of Chip's track record, these quarterbacks are going to listen to him because they want to go where Drake May is. They want to go where Stidham is. Just the guys he has in the NFL, and that success makes it really, really easy for him to get them to sit down and listen. He also is a guy that will ask them, Drake, what do you think? What plays do you like? What's best here? So he is a guy that's just going to make the room feel really good and positive and move forward together as a team.
We're talking to Mack Brown, the College Football Hall of Famer here on BK and Ferrario. He was the head coach at North Carolina when he hired Chip Lindsey, Mizzou's new offensive coordinator. So we're learning a little bit more about what Missouri can get in its new offensive coordinator. Mack, just full disclosure, some of the reaction to this news was not entirely positive. There have been some questions among a portion of the Mizzou fan base on, hey, when he had Drake May, the passing game was amazing at North Carolina, but otherwise there have been times in his history where it hasn't been overly productive on the passing game side of things. And that's been the biggest frustration among Mizzou fans in recent seasons, is that the running game's been great. They have so many good running backs, so many productive running backs, and that's been Eli Drinkwitz's strength, but the passing game has sometimes lagged behind. Do you have belief that without, a future top 5 overall selection at the quarterback position, Chip Lindsey can maximize what Missouri has in the passing game?
Yes, the fans are hard on hires because they all want to hire Vince Lombardi or Tom Osborne, and they're both dead. So since they're gone, it's really hard to get those guys. So when we get one, we start overanalyzing the guy. They did the same thing at North Carolina. Why didn't we get this one? Why didn't we get that one? Well, this one was available, so I got that. That's part of the fun with social media. That's part of the fun. I'm a fan now. I get to criticize. I get to second guess, and that's fun. That's kind of a game. So with Chip, what you got, he worked for Gus Malzahn, who's a run-first guy, and he's very loyal. He's going to do what his boss wants and what he thinks we need to do to win. He worked for Todd Graham, defensive guy. It's really hard for an offensive coach to work for defensive guys because they don't want you. They want you to run it every time, and then punt and hope they intercept or knock the ball loose. And then he worked for Todd Monken, who's really strong-willed and really good at what he does as an offensive coordinator. and he's a run-first guy. So, number one, you got to run the ball to win games. And people would rather throw it all over the place. With Drake, we had to run the ball better the second year that we had him, and the first year with Chip, because we weren't as experienced in the offensive line. So we had to run the ball well enough to protect for him. But there's no question in my mind that Chip and Eli get along. They're on the same page, which is really, really important. Alignment is important, and we're seeing a lot of that not happening across college football, whether it's alignment with your presidents, your AD, your head coach, your play caller, your defensive guy, and your offensive guy. Alignment is so important, much more important than ever before because of NIL and transfer portal and all of the things that are going along outside your program with the distractions. So, yes, if I had it to do over again, I would absolutely hire Chip Lindsey. And you do have to have a good quarterback that can throw, and you got to have good receivers, and you got to be able to protect. It's a lot easier to run than it is pass. But I've always said you can't pass it unless you run it. And with the back that Missouri's got, I watched the game the other night. With the back that you've got, you run the ball enough. Chip's really good with play action. He's really good with spreading the ball around because his background was really spread offense. So my concern when he came in was, would he be physical enough in the running game? Because I knew he was raised as a spread offense guy. And then he did exactly what we needed to do that was predicated on the players that we had to give us a chance to win.
Mack, you've mentioned the portal a couple of times, and it's the topic that dominates college football these days. Just from your perspective, what's the difficult part of managing that transfer portal when you're a program that's looking to always improve?
You've got to have money, number one. If you don't have money, you're not going to be able to compete. And it's one of the things I'm worried about. When we went to revenue share, that helped a little, but still the big boys that have more money than the others are still going to be able to pay more when you have to. And my friends that I'm talking to across the country, the budget has gone up this year for the portal over last year, and it's going to keep going up until we get a salary cap. So we've got to get collective bargaining. We've got to get a salary cap, or we're going to lose parity in college sports. We're going to have 12 to 15 that are playing at the highest level, and everybody else is going to be kind of like a feeder program because they're going to buy those players from them. And that's really, really difficult right now. It's so interesting to me to see that people are releasing, we re-signed our running back for next year. And I thought, how sad is that we're so excited that we signed him once, now we got to give him more money and sign him again. Or that we're seeing players that are opting out and not even going to the NFL. They're opting out and going in the portal, which already means they've got a deal in place. So we have got to put some sense back into this thing. I don't even think it's healthy for the guys. We made a mistake for years. I made $15 a month as a college football athlete on scholarship. Most people did the same until about 3 years ago. Then we lost amateurism, but we have no guidelines. The NFL has a much better product right now than college football. We're all going to love the games today, tonight, this weekend. We're all going to watch them, but it's not healthy for the players, for the parents, or for the kids. Should players be paid? Absolutely. They should be paid. Should they get a portion they should have gotten? And maybe we should have given them $150,000 for graduating 10 years ago, $100,000 to get their life started, and then we wouldn't be in the position we're in. Nobody's talking about academics. Nobody's talking about graduation. Nobody's talking about graduation rates. We've got kids that are transferring 3 to 5 times, which is going to lead to homelessness and some mental health issues. In my mind, no home for these kids when they transfer 5, 6 times, 4 or 5 times. They don't have a place, and it's going to be really, really difficult. So, to me, we need changes and we need them fast.
Mack, we'll get you out of here on this. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to catch up with you today. We do have the college football playoff continuing this weekend. We've got 4 different games, 8 teams remain. Do you have a favorite out of these 8? Who do you see as the, in your mind, top contender to win the title this year?
I think it would either be Ohio State or Georgia. Those two have been there. They've done that. Both of them have quarterbacks that have to play well to get there. But like this weekend, you're looking at Ohio State and Miami. Which quarterback's going to play the best? Because both struggled in their last games. They're both really good on defense. Both of them run the ball okay. Texas Tech is really interesting for me. He and Oregon, Dan Lanning and Joey McGuire, both really good friends of mine. Texas Tech's for real. But this will be the first time they've played a for real team this weekend in Oregon. So who's going to come out of that alive? And to me, that's going to be which defense steps up. Oregon's defense didn't play as well against James Madison as you would like. I know there were some backups in there. But still, you got to play good. You look at Alabama. Can they step? Which Alabama team's going to show up? Because is Indiana really good, or did Ohio State play a little flat after they finally beat Michigan? And Indiana's only played at Oregon and won big. They played at Penn State and won in the last seconds, but their schedule hadn't been really tough. But they've been very, very impressive. And then you look at Georgia. They've beaten Ole Miss. I think they'll beat them again. Georgia seems to be the team, to me, that's peaking the most right now. They're running the ball well. They're playing great defense. They've been there. They're hungry. They didn't get what they wanted last year, and it seems like they have a little easier path to get to the end. So, but all of these games should be games that we're interested in. I do think in the first round we shouldn't have had group of 5 teams playing. We should have had like a Notre Dame playing at Ole Miss, and we should have had a Texas, a Vanderbilt playing at Oregon, and we would have all watched longer. And I do think the group of 5 should have their own national championship. I think if we're playing Tulane and Memphis this weekend, we're playing James Madison and Boise State, we're all watching. It's still fun, and give them some money from the playoffs so they can play at their own level. But it's unfair to ask a team without money to play a team with money. And the last thing, Brandon, I'll say is having money is not the only thing that matters. Vanderbilt wasn't a brand name program. Clark Lea's done a great job. They've got them money now. They can play in a top 15 at Vanderbilt for the first time in Vanderbilt history. Indiana was not a brand program. Coach Cignetti's done an unbelievable job of finding the right guys, paying the right guys, and getting people in a position to and coaching them. Joey McGuire, Texas Tech's never been good on defense. Mike Leach thought a great defense was when you scored 52 points and beat them 52-48. I mean, I coached against him for years, and he'd go for 4th down. He went 13 times against us once. And I said, why'd you go for 4th down 13 times? He said, we weren't going to stop you. So what the heck? We might as well do it. They are a legitimate defense, so it's going to be so much fun to see if Oregon can move the ball against that Texas Tech defense, because Oregon's going to be better than most of the teams that Texas Tech played this year. So, but you've got some teams that have money that aren't winning. You still have to have a relationship with the kids. You've still got to bring some portal kids in and make it fit in your locker room. You've still got to pay them what their value is to you. You can't just pay this one a whole lot because it looks good and you want to get him. What is the value for your running back position? What is the value for your tight end position? And if that guy asks for more money to go somewhere else, you're going to have to let him go. And I'll close with this, Brendan. I was sitting in a staff meeting last year, and I said, okay, you pro guys. I had 3 ex-pro guys, NFL guys on the staff. I said, tell me about salary cap. Tell me what that's going to mean to us in college. They said, Coach, it's really simple. Your right guard's asking for $700,000 to come back. Your right tackle's asking for $700,000 to come back. Your left tackle's asking for $1.4 million. You only have the $1.4 million. So you got to decide: do I want to keep the left tackle, or do I let the right guard and right tackle go, or do I pay the right guard and right tackle, move the right tackle to left tackle, then hire me another guy that I've got to bring in? So managing these egos, managing your personalities for the right value is so important. I see some great programs losing kids, and I said, why'd you lose him to a lesser school? Said, Coach, he asked for too much money. His value to us is not worth that money. Looks good. He's a good player, but he's not worth that to us because we can't pay the other defensive linemen in the room the same, and he's darn sure going to tell them all what he's making. So I think that's the world that we're living in.
It's a tough spot to be in, and it's one of the things you mentioned earlier, Mac, about how these running backs are saying, hey, I'm coming back. I've re-signed. Mizzou didn't just have that with their starting running back this year. Their backup running back also had a contract negotiation where he is apparently going to be back as well, and that's something that is expected to be announced at some point in the next few days. Hey, Mac, it's been an absolute pleasure. A young Brandon Kiley would have been thrilled to have this opportunity. I remember 2005. I was a young kid sitting in my basement watching Lima Swede catch that touchdown pass against Ohio State, and then Vince Young was my favorite player growing up. Seeing that team win the national title was an absolute joy. So this has been awesome to be able to catch up with you. We sincerely appreciate it. We wish you and the fam a happy new year, and hopefully we'll talk with you again soon.
Thank you, Brandon. We're actually doing a podcast with Vince now that's been so fun. And like you guys, we have to figure out what stories we can tell.
That's for sure.
I said, no, that's not. No, Ben. We can't go there. That's one for the boys. That's not one for the podcast.
That's
Mac,
awesome.
we appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk with you again soon.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you, guys. Happy New Year to everybody.
Absolutely.
You too.
Same to you. It's Mack Brown, former, current, all-time winning national championship coach, formerly with North Carolina, one of my favorites growing up. He hired Chip Lindsey at North Carolina, the new Mizzou offensive coordinator. So if you missed that part of the conversation, check it out on the podcast page after the show today, 101ESPN.com, the free 101 ESPN app. That's where you can go to find it. We are well past time to get to Mike McKenna. We let him know we were going to be a little bit behind. We appreciate him being patient with us. I think all of that was well worth it.
Yeah.
That guy rocks. He's amazing. An unbelievable storyteller, a classic college football coach. We will talk to Mike McKenna, the former NHL goalie, when he joins us next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here with the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night, the St. Louis Blues fell to the Buffalo Sabres 4-2. They'll be back in action tomorrow night as they visit the Colorado Avalanche. We'll have pregame coverage tomorrow starting at 7 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Puck drop at 8 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
We should have done this yesterday, Alex.
I told you. We need to start getting Mike after wins. After a win. Mike, we're calling you today.
Yeah, I think in the future that's what we're going to have to do. We'll just kind of play it by ear. It'll be a floating interview.
Yep.
Depending on when they win, we just call them that night and say, hey, Mike, we're going to do our interview tomorrow. Mike McKenna, former NHL goalie, joins us now via the Callier and Thompson hotline. He joins us each and every week here on BK and Ferrario. He is one of the best in the business, and we sincerely appreciate his time. Unfortunately, he's doing so today after a 4-2 loss against the Buffalo Sabres last night. Mike, how you doing today, man?
Man, you know what? It's going to be the new year. We had a great holiday. But I like your idea. How about the next time the Blues win, just call me. Like, I don't need to prep. I don't need to do anything. I'm going to be watching the game anyway, so just call me. And that's what we're going to do. And you can even make it like guerrilla style where, hey, we're calling Mike out of the blue, and I'm just going to be completely on the fly, seat of my pants, and you're going to get all the unvarnished opinion because this blows. I hate coming on after they lose, man. I hate it. Like, because they played good hockey lately. Like maybe not the last 2 games, but the last month, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, but Mike, maybe it's just the inevitable to where now we're here and we just need to accept it and they start losing so we can get ourselves a nice draft pick.
4th overall selection as of today, Mike.
Yeah, but look how volatile the standings are. I mean,
also 3 points out of a playoff spot.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. So this is going to be a mess until the very end. Like, trade deadline is going to be incredibly difficult, not just for Doug Armstrong, but for GMs around the league because, you know, I saw the other day a couple of people discussing it, how do we need to expand the playoff race? And I'm not in favor of that. I still think you got to be in the top 16. That's just my thing. I get it. But there are legitimately 20-something teams that are kind of all in the mix, and then there's, like, Colorado. You know, so you got, like, one complete wagon out there, and then everybody else is just, like, pretty good. So I don't know where it's going to go.
Mike McKenna, former NHL goalie, joining us here on BK and Ferrario. All right, Mike, let's break that one down. Jordan Kyrou was the whipping boy last night. There's always somebody, and last night it was Kyrou who got benched down the stretch, and after the game, the coach says, hey, he needs to skate more. I'm not disputing any of that. That's fine. He didn't have a great game last night, but, man, he was far from alone in that regard. What did you see from the Blues that stood out to you last night, Mike?
Well, great start, looked good, had some energy, but then they get scored on right off the bat. So, I mean, that didn't help. You want to get out and be able to build a lead up. Did see some things from Otto Stenberg that were pretty cool. Head up, like the pass that he made to Shen right away. The forecheck that Snuggerud's line had before they scored as well. I mean, this is all first period stuff, and then it just kind of went away. I think as a coach, what drives him crazy is that for Monty, there's kind of a disconnect here. Like, Cam Fowler didn't think they played that bad. At least that's what he said after the game. And Monty definitely disagreed with that. Here's what I think it is. Did the Blues have chances in the third period? Did Robert Thomas have chances in the third period? Yeah, they had some good ones. They had some grade A ones. Jimmy Snuggerud had one too. The problem is they didn't get a shot on goal on those. That's what will drive a coach insane, is that kind of from the player's perspective, you're thinking, well, we had chances, we just didn't convert or anything. And the coach is going, you didn't even get a shot on goal. You know, seriously, that's the difference. Like, and as now that I've been coaching, even with kids, like, it is that mindset. Like, if you don't get a shot on goal, what does it even matter if you made a great play? It literally doesn't matter. So you can see that where the frustration is. This is a team that just doesn't have any killer instinct aside from, like, Justin Falk has had it this year. Snuggerud wants to shoot the puck. But even Robert Thomas gets in his own head. You know, he shoots one, misses a net, and then all he wants to do is pass afterwards, and you can't bury one. So they just needed more. The back checking, it's real. It wasn't great enough, but when you get opportunities like that in the NHL, you have to at least get a shot on goal and make the goalie work.
Mike, I know why Cam Fowler is saying that, because you're trying to make things not as bad as they seem, but what's that mean when there's that disconnect, when you got a coach who is very verbally upset, calling out the effort once again and saying we need to play with more pride, but yet you've got a locker room who is saying, well, it's not that bad, we played pretty well.
Yeah, and a leader in the locker room also, and somebody that's won a lot of games. So I don't know how to really quantify that, because it seems very odd to have that reaction when there's that many blown back checks and plays right in the middle of the slot that your team just does not cover on. I don't know how you can possibly be watching as a player and not feel that. So I'm just watching players straight-legged back in the zone. It's the same old mistakes. You know, it's like you get your scorers back, and all of a sudden you think you can score 10 goals a game and play a little bit looser. And the Blues just didn't have that defensive structure that they had when Kyrou was out of the lineup and, you know, when Snuggerud wasn't in the lineup. And now they're relying on those guys.
We're talking to Mike McKenna here on 101 ESPN. The former NHL goalie joins us each and every week here on BK in Ferrario on behalf of the fine folks over at Mackadoodles. We'll ask him what's available over there ahead of tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I know a lot of people probably have some plans for that. And then
I got big
New
plans.
Year's Day, we've got. Do you?
Yeah, big plans on New Year's Eve.
Where are you going?
Down my stairs and into a little closet.
Maybe you'll get some libations from Mackadoodles to help you out.
Maybe
with the
I might need
post-game show, eh?
Maybe I might need it.
Mike, we do need to ask you about the goalie situation, because
can we hold on a second here? You just made it sound like you're the Gimp in Pulp Fiction. You're going downstairs. Like, come on, man.
Look, Mike, it's not the worst comparison in the world. I'm going downstairs. The pregame is going to be exciting. The postgame, I don't know.
I mean, they're going up against a team tomorrow, Mike, that's lost 2 times in regulations. We're halfway through the regular season.
Legitimately, like Colorado against this man-to-man defense, they might put 12 up on the Blues.
No, I'm calling it. The Blues are winning 5-1 tomorrow. They're winning 5-1. Place your bets. I don't gamble. Go ahead. This is your own. I'm not endorsing this, but I'm telling you, the Blues are going to win 5-1. The goalie situation. Let's just be real about this, that Joel Hofer has played phenomenal over the last, let's say, month or so. It's been in direct comparison to his start of the year. Start of the year wasn't great. Now he's feeling it. Now he's performing above average, like well above average league-wide. There's going to be something of a regression there. There always is with every goalie. You come back down to earth at some point. But he's been outstanding. And you can really see it, the penalty kill in the third period, about 10 minutes left. He was early on every shot. He was early on a Tage Thompson one-timer from the top of the circle that was a missile, and he made it look easy. That's when a goalie is feeling it. Like, you can really tell that he's comfortable in his game and his positioning. So I'm excited about that for Hofer, but I also want to just remind folks that the Blues have 2 goalies. They don't have a starter and a backup. They have 2 goaltenders. And Jordan Binnington's going to be a huge part of this Blues team. If they were to start the playoffs tomorrow, I don't know who plays if they make the playoffs. They have 2 goalies. And they are wise to use them both when they are going well, play it by ear, because they're both pros. They can both handle it. And ultimately, they're battling for that crease. And I think that's a good thing for the Blues.
Mike, can I go back to one more hockey question before we talk Mackadoodles? We were talking about Kyrou there a little bit and how, he played 4 shifts in the third period. Do you feel like Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich are and should be held to the same standards in terms of that compete that Jim Montgomery was frustrated with Kyrou? Do you think they're being held to that same standard?
I think at times Kyrou can get it harder than anybody else because it's just so obvious. The straight leg back checks. I mean, this has always been a thing where when those legs go vertical, bad things happen. And that's at every level with every player. But Kyrou, it happens to more. For me, I think Buchnevich typically plays hard, but I think he gets frustrated, and you can see that frustration come through where plays just don't happen. Thomas just seems to kind of get in his own head with stuff. So I think it's warranted just because of that effort level. When I see straight legs, I don't like it. I don't see it as often from Buchnevich and Thomas. It's there. But it's been a part of game of Kairos that he constantly has to be on top of. Like, he cannot let himself lag on the player, and that's what happens.
Mike, tell us about what you guys have going on over at Mackadoodles. I think I'm going to need a little something tomorrow night as I'm watching, I don't know, the college football playoff game, maybe a little bit of the Blues as well. We're going over to some our friend's place for the New Year's Eve tradition that we do with them. What can people expect when they walk through the doors today or tomorrow over at Mackadoodles?
Well, if they'd been here in the last 20 minutes, they would have seen one of our reps with the best hair in the league, Ryan Pfeiffer from Breakthrough. This guy's got a crop of hair like you wouldn't believe. He came and he just stocked us up on Maker's Mark. We got plenty of that, so happy he was in. We do have our final allocated whiskey raffle of the year taking place. Anybody that comes in, spends $50 or buys a barrel pick or spends money over in wine, you get tickets towards this raffle. We have an old Rip Van Winkle 10-year on the shelf waiting for the person who wins that raffle the right to buy it at MSRP. We got a 12 in the same raffle and a stag, so that's a big incentive. We've got bubbles all over the floor. So champagne, bubbly, in wine, out front. We got 2 for deals on La Marca. We got Vouv marked way down to $54.97. So plenty of champagne, plenty of bubbles, plenty of New Year's goods. That whiskey raffle's calling your name. You still have some great barrel picks on the floor. And the only thing I'm worried about today is that David Jiricek might have ruined youth hockey for the next 3 months with that move between his legs to win a World Juniors. So other than that, everything's great at Mackadoodles. But David, now I'm going to have to deal with 12-year-olds trying to go between their legs and trying to do the Michigan every single practice. So here we are.
Yeah, no problem there. I mean, Adam, let me tell you something. It may have upset a lot of the younger players, or I'm sorry, the youth coaches, but it got a lot of Blues fans excited watching him dangle that goaltend. Mike, forwards can't even make that play. And freaking Adam Jiricek just goes out and dangles.
Well, that's what, I got him mixed up with his bro there, David, but that's what you see out of today's skill set. The defense are just as good with the puck as the forwards. And, I remember when I think it was Tomas Hertl did that when he first came in the league, and everybody wanted to kill him. And it's a legit way to change the angle of the puck, and it's hard to read as a goalie. So it's just one of those things we're going to see more and more of down the road. Matthew Tkachuk's popularized it, and now Jiricek's taking it to the next level on the big stage.
Mike, we appreciate the time as always, man. Enjoy your New Year's Eve tomorrow. We will talk with you again next week, hopefully this time coming off of a Blues victory.
Please. 5-1 tomorrow, and everybody out there have a great new year. On behalf of Mackadoodles, please be responsible. Take a designated driver, grab an Uber, have fun, be smart out there.
Appreciate you, Mike. That's Mike McKenna joining us as he does each and every week here on BK and Ferrario. If you missed any of our conversation with him, again, available on the podcast page after the show today, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Also on YouTube, youtube.com/101ESPN-STL. Coming up next, it's time for Ask Us Anything. If you guys have any questions, sports or otherwise, we'll get to them coming up here on BK and Ferrario.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for Ask Us Anything. If you guys have any questions, sports or otherwise, go ahead and get them in right now on the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 309, Alex, if the Blues were to get a top pick in this year's draft, who are some names that you would be excited about getting the opportunity to draft? How about that Otto Stenberg's brother?
Yeah, Ivar Stenberg. Yeah. He would be my prime number one target right now. And frankly, depending on how this tournament goes for both McKenna and Stenberg, I think that could be your first overall pick. Stenberg's small, but my God, does he know how to create offense on top of him having an elite shot. So he would probably be, if I was the Blues and drafting first overall, that would be the guy I would target. Gavin McKenna, he'd be a close second, but what worries me about Gavin McKenna is what everybody is saying. It feels a little Jordan Kyrou-y to where he's got all the offense in the world, but there's a little bit of that compete that lacks in Gavin McKenna's game.
Is he a special offensive player or just a good offensive player?
Sounds like he's a special offensive player.
I think Kyrou is a good offensive player.
Sounds like he is a special offensive player, but even a special offensive player, if you don't have compete, sometimes it doesn't match. Sometimes it doesn't translate to the NHL level. It looks great in juniors. Sure. Right now, he's struggling in college. To get to the NHL level, it doesn't match. The defenseman Keaton Verhoff is another one, and then they got like the 6'5", 205-pound 19-year-old in juniors, Ethan Belchich, who is another one. So Stenberg would be my prime target if you could get him.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, if you had to choose between a home run swing on a quarterback or an experienced backup, which way would you go? I'm assuming this is Mizzou related. That would be my assumption. I would go home run swing on a quarterback.
Totally home run swing on a quarterback.
The problem is, I don't know who that guy is this year. Like, Fernando Mendoza felt like this guy's going to be really good. I didn't know that he was going to be the Heisman, but it seemed pretty clear. That guy is a really good college quarterback. Who is that guy in the portal this year?
I don't know that there is one. Because a lot of people would probably say like Riola, but I've seen Riola play at Nebraska.
Would it be Underwood?
I mean, first of all, he hasn't even hit the portal officially yet.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that good this year. He might end up being excellent, but
yeah, I don't know that there is one. Like I think the closest would be either Lagway or Riola, but I mean, I saw what Lagway did this year. That guy can't read a defense, so I don't know. Like if I would call him a home run swing, at least Mendoza, like you said, he was pretty good at Cal. Was it Cal? Yeah, Cal. The first year or the year prior before entering the portal, like you could dream on if you put him in the right system with the right talent around him, he could take off. I don't even think that's the case with a Riola.
Brendan Sorsby is considered the top quarterback on the market. He's solid. Like just solid. He's from Cincinnati. Other than that, Sam Levitt I really like, but I just don't think you have any chance to get him at Mizzou. Mestemaker was really good at North Texas. How's that going to translate to the SEC? I have no idea. I don't know if you guys have seen pictures. He's rail thin. I mean, he is like my size. I don't know.
That won't work in the SEC.
Josh Hoover, I think, is going to be really good, but it sure seems like he's headed to Indiana. See, that's Raiola. He's wildly talented. Lagway, wildly talented. I have no idea if they're going to be good college quarterbacks. No clue. So I would go that direction. I just don't know who that player is. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. From the 314, I'm curious. I love this question. What's been your favorite thing to cover or discuss on your show in 2025? Seems like there hasn't been a ton of excitement in St. Louis sports these days.
True.
I mean, I loved talking about the Blues making that run at the end of 2025 and getting into the playoffs. I mean, I know that it went south, but man, they had a real shot beating that Winnipeg Jets team, and that was the first time I had that excitement since that year coming out of COVID, to where they almost beat Colorado and Bennington got hurt. So that for me was probably the most excited I had been.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, because I think if I remember, I may have missed one home game, but I was up in the press box for those two two of the three home games at least. And the Hellebuck chants, the atmosphere that was there, like
amazing.
there's nothing better than playoff hockey or playoff baseball. And like being able to have that, to your point, since it'd been a while and it was on such a special run and having to stay up till I think it was like 4 or 5 a.m. to make the 7-minute intro we had the day after they clinched the playoffs. Like that was worth it because it was just an incredible run to cover and see happen.
Yeah. To just go different, because that's it. Like that's the answer. Is
8 wins this
seeing
year.
the historic
fun
run
for that
that they
bowl game.
had, getting into the playoffs. And we say this when it happens, and we're not just blowing smoke. It's my favorite thing to do is go down there for our shows, go grab some lunch together, stick around for the game that night, do pre-post and intermissions with Alex. It's the best because the games feel so big, man. And when there's an event around your team, there's truly nothing better.
Hey, man, open invitation. Any regular season game you guys want to do, I'll go get lunch with you. I'll buy lunch to stick around.
After they win 3 in a row, I'll take up that offer and show up for the 4th game of that winning streak.
Wow,
To
it'll
go
feel like
a
the
little
playoffs.
different, I have found it to be really compelling, not necessarily fun, but compelling to follow and talk about the Cardinals as they are going into a new era of a significant transition. Now, I don't think next year is going to be nearly as fun as this year was to cover, but we got to talk about a real time in transition in Cardinals history. It's not necessarily a fun time of transition, but it's a time of transition nonetheless. And to cover that, it's kind of a historic moment for this franchise. They have not done this in 30 years. And so to be able to be one of the people that's covering the transition has been really interesting to me. And to follow it and to see kind of the reaction to it and what it looks like from the outside looking in, I found that to be really interesting. I also just, on a selfish note, to be able to, trying to think of the way to frame this, but to have better relationships with the Cardinals, I think has also been very good for our show. Just to have a little more insight into kind of some of the stuff that's going on, the inner workings of the team. I think that has been good for us to be able to relay things for you, the listener. So that would be another thing that I've been really proud of our show this year is being able to develop some of those relationships. And I think that's a really important thing for radio is not just to do this on the mic, but also to be able to go talk to people. Alex is really good with that with the Blues. And I think as a show, we've done a better job of it on the Cardinals this past calendar year.
Because frankly, without that, this doesn't matter. Like, if we don't have the relationships, what we're saying is we're just spewing nonsense. Like, we're actually providing information, at least I believe, from people that work within the organizations.
All right. He's Alex. That's T-Bone. I'm BK. We're going to talk to our friend and the Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford, coming up.
More Blues.
At 1 o'clock. He is going to join us at 1 o'clock today. But next, speaking of the Cardinals, we got a little bit of an update yesterday on Brendan Donovan, his sweepstakes, why it's taking so long to trade him, and a player that it sounds like is at least available in those conversations with the Mariners. We'll talk about that next year on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, Katie Wu had an update on the Brendan Donovan sweepstakes yesterday over on The Athletic. It's great to see Katie still doing some reporting.
Stop toying with my emotions. It's that breakup that the girl just keeps appearing.
Yep, I know. It's great. It's great to see her byline and some Cardinals fresh reporting on where things stand with Donnie. Now, when I say an update, it is basically the update is there is no update. The Cardinals have been adamant that they won't trade Donovan solely for the sake of making a move. The return package has to make sense, and for a club looking to rebuild through drafting and developing, that means capitalizing on prospects. All of this coming from Katie Wu and her reporting. The Cardinals believe they can land the type of package they've been coveting. As they've shown, however, they're comfortable waiting, and the Diamondbacks contemplating trading Ketel Marte, the Cardinals might end up having to wait even longer. Traction with Donovan appeared to be building shortly after the winter meetings, with the Mariners and Giants emerging as frontrunners. However, those negotiations stalled as the Contreras trade began to take shape. The Red Sox and Cardinals have also discussed a trade for Donovan, with Boston looking for an additional middle infielder. No deal with any team appears to be close, but with the Contreras trade completed, St. Louis will now shift back to making Donovan a priority. Expect trade talks to pick up over the next couple of weeks. There was also an update yesterday from, I believe his name is Ryan Divish, the beat writer for the Seattle Mariners, who reported that, hey, the Cardinals and the Mariners, they've talked about Brendan Donovan, and he believes the Mariners are willing to include their ambidextrous pitcher, who we talked with their insider a couple of weeks ago now, about he is now potentially available in trade talks with the Cardinals for Brendan Donovan. Would he be the headliner in such a trade? I don't know. I think that all depends upon who the other players are involved with that deal, but at least one player appears to be known, one prospect appears to be known in regards to what is available for the Cardinals. What was your reaction when you saw this story, this update from Katie on where things stand with Donnie right now?
So the update with Katie didn't strike me as much as that Ryan Divish report, because when I saw it originally, I'm like, oh, okay, so then why hasn't this deal gotten done? Because when it said, like, they're not looking to move major league talent, is that what Chaim's asking for? Because I just have been under
the opposite.
Yeah. My guess, by the way, real quick on that little nugget there, that's the talks with Arizona, because Ketel Marte,
which would make sense.
Arizona's been looking for some major league talent to come back in that, so that makes me think they're out on Marte and are now pivoting towards Donovan.
And so that's why maybe to Katie Wu's reporting, you're going to see these noise pick back up, and maybe this trade gets done sooner rather than later, because it always felt like you were waiting for the Ketel Marte market to figure itself out before you get to this point.
I would add Bregman into that too. I think Bregman's market is also having an impact on Donnie, because as much as I love Donnie, he's not as good as Alex Bregman. Bregman's a better player.
Yeah.
And if I'm one of these teams, and for Bregman, it's just money, and for Donnie, I have to give up significant prospect capital.
But does Bregman have that versatility to play multiple positions?
Yeah, he can play third or second. He can't play shortstop for you, probably not in the outfield. But if you're a team that's looking for a middle infielder, especially, you could go the Bregman market, you could go Ketel Marte, or you could go Donnie. And Donnie's pretty clearly the third best of those three players. That's not a shot against Brendan Donovan. It's just the reality.
Yeah, so really, like I said, my initial reaction was, oh, okay, so the Mariners deal is probably going to get done sooner rather than later. Because to T-Bone's point, you see Ryan Divish's report that, hey, they're not willing to move major league prospects. Okay, well, then the match is made with the Cardinals. And if they're willing to put this ambidextrous pitcher in there, then really the question is, what else are you giving me if you're the Cardinals? We've talked about that Montez. I know people have brought up other different prospects, but to me, I read this as, yeah, you're probably going to see a Donovan Seattle Mariners trade happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think you're seeing Seattle pivot away from Arizona, because I think Arizona, more than Marte and Bregman by themselves, are what's kind of clogged up this market, because teams are trying to figure out, are they willing to move on from Marte? There's been talks of them being interested in Bregman, and they've floated the idea that they can hold on to Marte, also citing Bregman. So it's really the Diamondbacks that are really clogging this up, and I think Seattle is saying, we're done waiting, and we will now include the ambidextrous pitcher, and then we'll build the package around it. So I think I still would lean towards, yes, it's probably going to be the Mariners that end up trading for Donovan, because when we had the Mariners insider from up in Seattle on, she said she didn't think they were going to go the route of just saying, hey, we'll figure this out when we get to season. She thought it was on the table, but she thought they were going to make a move. And I think they finally have made their decision. If they're not going to move on from Major League talent and they're now willing to include this ambidextrous pitcher, I think those are the dominoes that are starting to fall towards them leaning into this trade to Donnie.
I've seen some, I wouldn't say panic, but frustration, I think is probably the word that I would use among Cardinals fans, that they haven't gotten this deal done yet. I just don't think it matters.
Yeah, I'm beyond not frustrated.
There's no urgency to this. And it's part of what frustrates me about the offseason, not for the Cardinals, but for Major League Baseball, is that they don't have any deadlines. Like, Brendan Donovan could be on the Cardinals by the time that we get to the winter warm-up. It wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't mean he's going to be on the Cardinals on opening day. He could be on the Cardinals by the time that we get to mid-February. Like, we could get to Valentine's Day. He could be on the Cardinals and then be traded the very next day because suddenly something happens that changes the market for him. There's some kind of a factor that domino falls, and then Brendan Donovan suddenly is the player that now has that urgency. There's no reason for teams to up the ante right now. And it's why I believe there should be, I agree with what Lance Lynn had to say. I think there should be a roster freeze for trades in the offseason. I think you should get to the winter meetings, and this would make the winter meetings an event again. I think you should get to the winter meetings, and there is a deadline at, let's call it 5 p.m. that day, when people start boarding planes to go back home. There is no trades between then and the day that teams report to spring training. No trades. You can still make free agent signings. You can do whatever it is that you need to do on your team that way. But when it comes to trades, your roster is set from the end of the winter meetings up until the start of spring training. There's injuries that happen in the offseason. There's injuries that happened in spring training. So, like, sometimes teams will make a couple of moves there to, whether it's just, minor league moves, whatever it may be. But, yeah, trades can then continue. But I think that would be a way to alleviate this problem. And I also think that would have a trickle-down effect on free agency, because there are teams that are pitting against one another, Ketel Marte, Brendan Donovan, and Alex Bregman. So they're using those three markets against one another, and nothing ends up moving because of it. If Ketel Marte had already been traded and Brendan Donovan had already traded, you know what goes faster? Alex Bregman market. So, in my opinion, it is a Major League Baseball problem, much more so than a Cardinals problem. And it doesn't really matter to me at all that Brendan Donovan hasn't been dealt yet. I agree with you guys. I think he probably ends up going to the Mariners. That has always felt like the most natural landing spot for him. We do have one other update in this from Katie Wu.
Oh, yeah? What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
It's on Nolan Arenado.
Oh, he's going to be gone?
Yeah, they found a match, right?
He has to be gone, I remember.
He will not return.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Correct. I believe that.
Sure. What's the update, buddy?
Arenado, who is coming off of a third straight season of offensive decline, is viewed as a backup option by many of the teams engaged with either Eugenio Suarez or Alex Bregman. As The Athletic reported last week, the Angels have interest in Arenado, but it remains to be seen if the Southern California native would waive his no-trade clause to join them. The Diamondbacks could also be a team to watch if they miss out on Bregman, but no formal discussions have taken place between Arizona and St. Louis. Bloom reiterated multiple times that it would be best for the player and for the team to make a trade. Bloom has also repeated that releasing Arenado is, quote, not an option. A salary dump appears to be the most likely option here.
Or, and hear me out, he's back.
I will reiterate.
Nolan
Arenado.
I will reiterate.
Will not be back. Cannot be back. Should not be back. And I believe that the Cardinals will do whatever is necessary in order for that to happen. I think if they have to do what they did with Dexter Fowler, and they trade him and include basically all of the money on the deal outside of like $1 million, again, the way that they did with Dexter Fowler, I think they're going to have to and will eventually do that.
I will reiterate that the only part in your statement that is true is Nolan Arenado should not be back. The other two, not so much.
Yeah.
The other part for me is like releasing him is not an option. Okay, but you're going to just pay all of the money to get rid of him. Why not just release him? Pride?
Supposedly it's bad PR.
But, I mean, okay.
Supposedly you can't release a future Hall of Famer. I didn't make that rule, but
I don't get that, but sure.
yeah. I still think he's gonna. He's gonna be traded, but it's not as like 100%. 60-40. 60-40 is
100% he's gone.
I just don't understand how he's had bad PR. He won't accept a trade to any of the places that we can trade him. We can't have you back. Unfortunately, we have to part ways.
I think it might be one of those things where they're saying this publicly, and then there's conversations that are taking place behind the scenes that might be a little different. You know, so sometimes teams do this. I'm sure the Blues do this with players. The Cardinals do it with players. I think this is one of those spots where there's no urgency from any teams. Arenado's market was always going to be slow to develop. I'm not worried about this. They're going to get a deal done. They're going to find a home for Nolan Arenado, and it will not be in St. Louis in 2025.
I have a question before we go to break. Are you trying to convince me or yourself?
Yeah, sounds like you're convincing yourself. There,
No.
I don't need to be convincing anybody.
Well, then why are we talking about it?
Because there was an update, and I felt it was our job as media people to relay that information from Katie Wu to our audience to make sure if they had not seen it yet, they do see it now.
I think you're trying to make T-Bone and I believe it. And we are not going to believe it. We'll have to wait till next Thursday to do that.
He's Alex, that's T-Bone on BK. Coming up next, our football pick'em, the final one of the 2025 calendar year. There is still some real stakes for the December punishment and kind of some stakes for the full season punishment as well. We'll give you the update on that next year on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN.
I wish people could see what T-Bone just did.
Just got an update on the ratings.
Oh, good. T-Bone, you get a second chance at it on camera. Give it to the people.
It went well.
Yeah? How well?
Second place.
T-Bone?
Second place. Shout out
Show me the money.
Shout out to the Fast Lane.
Yeah? What'd they do?
First place.
Look at them go.
First place. Shout out to TMA, our lead-in. They crushed it, man. Absolutely crushed it. Also in second place, but absolutely crushed it.
Nice.
It's impossible to beat
Who's
the
in
Riz
first
show.
place?
The Riz show. Come on.
Oh.
I mean, they're
The who?
monsters. Riz show.
But we're first.
Never heard of him.
We're first.
Oh, well, we were tied for second.
With what? We were tied for second?
Tied for first. Let me.
What is it, man?
Yeah, hold on. It was tied for first in the commercial
tied
break.
for first.
Well, tied for first
I
in
take
the
back
month
my
of
celebration.
December,
Oh,
but it's second for the quarter.
oh yeah.
Who are we tied with? Come on, man. You can't provide these people. Was it Donnie? It was Donnie, wasn't it? Oh, that son of a gun.
Donnie, don't you ever show up to our office again
You
complaining
get out
about
of
your
here,
bills.
Donnie.
Is KLOU 1025?
No, that's KEZK. KLOU's 103.3, I think.
All right, Donnie, you're welcome back.
Yeah, Donnie, you're coming.
1033. Yeah,
just
they
didn't
were
put my
tied for
microphone.
first 10 times.
God, I love it, T-Bone. Give me more of those.
All right, it is time for our football pick'em. It is the final one in 2025. We'll still pick games once we get into the playoffs, but it won't have the same stakes here on BK and Ferrario. If you're new to the show, if you haven't heard this before, you don't listen on Fridays normally, you just listen on Tuesdays. First of all, welcome in. Second of all, we do this each and every week throughout the regular season. Every month we'll have a new punishment. We also have a punishment for the end of the regular season. Right now, the full season rankings. Alex is at 53 points. I am at 45 points. T-Bone is at 39 points. We have 6 points possible every week. Alex is more than safe. He is.
What a season,
He has
Alex.
secured first place for the season.
What a season.
Basically from the first month.
I believe I'm safe. I have not looked into the actual tiebreakers yet. I am absolutely safe if I score a point this week for the full season punishment. T-Bone needs a lot of help. It's not going well for our boy. For December, it is also not going well for T-Bone.
No.
I'm at 12 points. Alex is at 10. T-Bone is at 8. T-Bone, would you like to pick last this
I'm
week?
in last for the month, too?
Correct.
Oh, man.
It's not
That's a
going-
news flash. I'll pick last.
I'll go
I thought I was in
first.
second.
No.
Oh, man.
No. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of
Suck it,
punishments. over there.
T-Bone.
Oh,
So, I will give my 1 point play to open things up.
Okay.
My 1 point play for the final pick'em of the 2025 season. Alex, we are going to watch this weekend in the NFL as possibly the Baltimore Ravens
Oh, baby.
take the field with Lamar Jackson, maybe,
No.
at the quarterback position against the Pittsburgh
Better
Steelers.
quarterback will start.
The Steelers are at home, and the Steelers have consistently played well against the Baltimore Ravens, and I think that trend will continue. I don't know if they win this game outright. I do believe they will lose by 3 or fewer points, though, and the line is 3.5 points in favor of the Ravens, again, on the road. Give me as my 1 point play this week, the Steelers plus 3.5 against the Ravens.
That's my 2 point play, T-Bone. Everything he said, I looked at.
First, you just drag along with him.
No, I had it on my phone. My finger was there, picking the entire way. There's playoff implications still, and I think that matters for the Steelers more than it does for the Ravens. And so I loved that play plus 3.5. Not as much as my 3 point play though.
All right, so my 1 point play, I will start in the NFL as well. And it's a game that's got significant stakes on it, and it's being played on Saturday. And I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers plus 1.5 against the Seahawks. Is this going to be a steal? Am I watching a steal based on BK's looks? What, do you got this game? Because I was ready to go Kyle Shanahan's doing a little sprinkle of Juwan Jennings, a little sprinkle of
Should I
George
just give my
Kittle.
3 picks?
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
probably do your pick so then T-Bone and I can go last because mine don't really matter.
Okay.
Mine matter in December, but who cares on that one?
T-Bone, I'm sorry.
Better. audible.
Luckily, I got 9 plays over here.
Wow, jeez.
Probably for the best.
Someone pretty confident.
My 3-point play will take place on Saturday night as the San Francisco 49ers are at home against the Seattle Seahawks. You remember a year ago, Alex, this time last year, Sam Darnold went into a huge game in Week 18. Gotta have it. And what did Sam Darnold do?
Peed down his leg.
He did what he always does in these games. He struggled mightily. The Seahawks offense has not looked the same recently. The offense that was the most explosive we've seen in NFL history has merely been good for about the last month. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was off to a historic pace, again, has just been pretty good the last month or so. I think the Seahawks will score a little bit in this game. I also think San Francisco will do their fair share of scoring. I think San Francisco wins this game straight up. And I believe that means they will have the number 1 seed in the NFC locked up. Give me San Francisco plus 1.5 at home against the Seattle Seahawks. That is my...
Go ahead. I was just going to say, you might as well do your 2-point play as well.
3-point play. My 2-point play, Alex, I'm also going to the NFL. I'm going to stick with it.
No college, huh?
No college for me. I just don't feel strong enough about the individual plays. My 2-point play will be the Chicago Bears at home minus 2.5 points against the Detroit Lions. The Lions are just playing out the string here. It's gone poorly. I'll go ahead and leave it at that.
Yep. All right. I like that one. So I already said my Steelers play was 2-point. My 1-point play, I have the Bills minus 7 at home against the Jets. I think they're going to try and make good for what just took place this past week. I think they cover that one easily against the Jets, who are a disaster. And then my 3-point play, I'm going to the one that BK refused to make the last time they played against each other. I'm taking the Patriots minus 10.5 against the Dolphins at home. Because you know why? Dolphins can't play well in cold weather. So minus 10.5 Patriots. That's my 3-point play.
All right, well, I only had to make one change then to my original 3, which makes me feel somewhat better. Now, granted, my 1-point play now, I'm not going to lie, I took some assistance here from Tom Fornelli, who I follow on social media. Always gives a play of the day during the bowl season.
Throwing Tom under the bus.
Remember the Alamo, they said, way back when. We're going to the Alamo Bowl, and we're going to take USC minus 5.5 against TCU. I have no idea why they're going to cover. I really don't. But Tom Fornelli likes that pick as his pick of the day. He's been hot while he's been bowling. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go USC minus 5.5 against TCU in the Alamo Bowl.
We'll see that tonight. Get early returns.
Wow, we'll find
You're
out.
going to find out quick.
My 2-point play going to the NFL. Maybe it's just because I just recently saw them dominate. But the Atlanta Falcons defense looks pretty good, and they can keep the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of the playoffs with a win. The way that defense looked last night, I think they're going to make it tough on Tyler Shuck and the Saints. So I love Atlanta minus 3 points this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. And then my 3-point play, I am going to the college football playoff. And Georgia's on my mind, as Ray Charles would say.
I'm surprised you knew who sang that.
I had to look it up. You really think Kirby Smart's not going to just dominate Ole Miss after a month to prepare for them? When Mack Brown, the Hall of Famer, said they're peaking at the right time, it just confirmed what I had been seeing with my 101 ESPN eyes. That Georgia defense has been playing great, and they've had a month to prepare for a team that doesn't have Lane Kiffin at the helm anymore. I think they blow out Ole Miss. It will not be close. Give me Georgia minus 6.5 against Ole Miss.
I like those picks. I really do. No, just I like those picks. Good picks all around.
So,
USC, I have no idea. Bulls,
Yeah, me neither. But
So full season-wise, I'm safe. I'm not losing.
Yep. I believe I'm safe. I'd have to go back through the tiebreakers, but if I get a point, I'm 100% safe.
You get a point. And then what really this is the December, because
Correct.
I'm only 2 up on T-Bone.
Yep. And I'm 4 up on T-Bone, 2 up on you. I also have the tiebreaker right now advantage over both of you.
Yeah. Okay.
So
We don't know. We haven't decided what the punishment is for December yet, right?
no.
Okay, so that's the one we have to decide, and we already know what the big one is, and we'll reveal that once we know T-Bone officially loses.
Those are our picks this week here on the BK and Ferrario Pick'em Challenge. Alex, what was your 1-point play again?
1-point play was the Bills minus 7. Thanks for listening.
No, you're good.
You want to know his 2-point play again?
Yeah, you need my 2-point play?
No, you got the Steelers on
You
that
need
one.
my 3-point play?
That one I got. Patriots.
Okay, cool. So you only listen part of the time.
My only
Need my 4-point
concern
play?
with 2 of your picks, Alex, the Bills and the Patriots, I just don't know what their incentive is to win.
I'm with you. Honestly,
that's what gives me anxiety picking in Week 18.
Look, I'm going to be 100% exclusive with everybody right here. I only glanced at it this morning because honestly, I didn't really care.
That's fair.
I'll suffer a December loss because the overall standings is what I really cared about, and I'm safe there.
And if we don't know what New England or Buffalo's playing for, what the hell are the Jets showing up for?
Totally fair.
And Brady Cook looks lost.
Regardless of what the Patriots are playing for, the Dolphins can't perform well in cold weather.
And at least for New England, they've got the number 1 seed still.
Yeah.
Buffalo's basically locked in.
I just think
depending on what happens with the Texans and the Chargers.
I just don't believe they're going to want to go into the playoffs as what last week was.
Sure.
And I feel like even partially motivated Buffalo Bills team can be better than the Jets. And I also think there is a little more something to play for the Patriots because I do think Drake May is going to try and finish out this MVP push.
I think they screwed up the schedule a little bit. I don't think they should have had the Texans playing at noon. I think they made a mistake. And the reason being, with the Texans playing at noon, the Bills will have an understanding of whether or not they won. And if the Texans win, they lock themselves into the 5 seed, basically. You got the Jaguars who kind of play into that, depending. I haven't looked at the exact tiebreakers there. I think that they have they officially secured the division there yet?
I don't think so. I think they need to win.
Mm-hmm. So there is a little bit to play for there, but the Bills basically have nothing to play for because what's really the difference between playing the Broncos, Patriots, and Jags? There is a difference, though, between playing the Steelers and any of those teams that I just mentioned. So there's huge incentive for the Texans to play at full bore going into this weekend. All right, that's what we've got for our pick'em. I have the Steelers, the Lions, and the 49ers. Alex has the Bills, the Steelers, and the Patriots. And T-Bone going with the Alamo Bowl tonight. He's got the USC Fighting Trojans -5.5 against TCU. He needs a perfect week. The Falcons -3 and Georgia -6 against Ole Miss.
What could go wrong when you bet on the Alamo Bowl?
Oof, T-Bone. I'm really rooting for 1 point from BK, so I watch you suffer the season-long punishment.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Coming up next, we will talk a little bit about what we're anticipating from this week's college football playoff here on BK and Ferrario.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode too. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned, so log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Tanner Hendrickson here, the Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues fell to the Sabres last night 4-2. They are off today. They'll be back in action tomorrow night as they visit the Colorado Avalanche. We'll have pregame coverage starting tomorrow night with Alex Ferrario at 7 o'clock, then puck drop at 8 o'clock with Chris Garber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an Icon Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the college football playoff. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. In 20 minutes, we'll talk to Jeremy Rutherford, Blues insider for The Athletic and 101 ESPN. Junk drawer here in just a little bit. Alex, we've got 4 games to take in over the next few days. The first one that we will see tomorrow night is Ohio State versus Miami. And then on January 1st, we will see Oregon versus Texas Tech, Alabama versus Indiana, and Ole Miss versus Georgia. Let's start with the first. We'll work our way from there. Ohio State versus Miami. I think Ohio State's, them and Indiana to me are the 2 best teams in the country this season. And Ohio State has the best defense. Julian Sayin has been excellent, and they've got one of the best players in the country in their number 1 wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith. I think the big question here is, can Miami's pass rush take over? That's what they were able to do in their first round matchup. They were unbelievable. Texas A&M had no answers for the front 4 on Miami. I don't think the same thing will be true for Ohio State. Julian Sayin has been very good this year, even against pressure. I was just looking up his numbers. He still completes like 70% of his passes for 9 yards per attempt, which is just ridiculous numbers against pressure. So I'm not as worried about that as I probably should have been. And I've been wrong about Miami before, so maybe it'll happen again. I think Ohio State wins this one by 2 touchdowns, Alex. How are you feeling going into that game?
Yeah, I think Ohio State wins this clearly, and my bigger concern is I don't know if Miami's putting up points. Like, I mean,
they didn't against Texas A&M, and this is an even better defense, in my opinion.
That's the thing, and I mean, I've never really liked Carson Beck. I don't think he's that quarterback that can take over a game, and he threw for 100 yards against Texas A&M, and like you said, Ohio State's a better defense. Ohio State held Indiana, who has Mendoza, to 13 points. So I don't see how Miami puts up points in this one. I think this is done by halftime.
Oh, wow. I think it's going to be close. Like, I kind of like Miami on the cover because I was impressed by what their defense did against Texas A&M, and I think it's going to be what allows them to stay in this football game. I do ultimately think Ohio State will win because I'm kind of with you. I don't think Carson Beck's going to be able to do enough. And when you play that Ohio State defense, you need your quarterback or your running back, more likely your quarterback, to become a difference maker. And Carson Beck hasn't shown that. I mean, you mentioned it, threw for like 100 yards against Texas A&M. Like, you're going to get away with that when your defense was able to slow down the Aggies. I don't know if you can do that against this Ohio State team because that defense is elite, an unbelievable defense. So I think Miami will cover, but I think Ohio State will win the football game.
The irony is that Beck was actually really good earlier in the season. Like, there was a point in time where he was one of the Heisman favorites because of how well he had been performing. And it just, starting with that Louisville game, really, everything went awry for him. But before then, he played some really good football and had some big-time moments early in the season. It started with that Notre Dame game and continued from there. But I just don't trust him. I agree with you, Alex. All right, next one up as we continue along with the college football playoff preview. I think this is personally the best game, the most intriguing game. I don't think it'll get the biggest ratings because they're not 2 brand name programs the way that some of these others are. But Texas Tech versus Oregon is fascinating to me. I truly don't know what to expect. Both of these defenses are awesome, and so I would not anticipate a high-scoring game here. I think this is going to be like a 17-13, 20-16, like that kind of a matchup. I like Texas Tech. I have liked Texas Tech, though, all along. What Mack Brown said to us earlier today is 100% true, and it is something that I have to acknowledge. Texas Tech has not had this kind of a challenge all season long. Oregon's a different level program, and they've got different level athletes all across the field. Offensively, they will present more challenges than anything Texas Tech has seen so far this season. So it does give me some pause on my pick of Texas Tech. It's why I didn't have them in my pick 'em. I wish this line was like 3.5. I would feel better about that. It's 2.5. That doesn't give me enough. How are you feeling going into this one?
This is the game that I'm most excited to watch because Texas Tech is kind of a wild card to me. I think Texas Tech covers, and part of me really wants to go with Texas Tech winning straight up. I just think their defense is just on a different level right now, and I know Oregon is a different team. Oregon is also a team that I have watched a lot this season and not trusted at times. So can they blow out Texas Tech? Sure. But I think Texas Tech's defense right now is playing at a certain level of confidence that is going to make life very difficult for Oregon. And if things are rough early on, I think they get into a little bit of a fog of how do we get out of this? And that's where Texas Tech can pounce.
I like the Ducks in this one. I think you're going to see Oregon put up points, and if this becomes a shootout, I don't know if the Texas Tech offense is going to hold up with them, because when you look at their games, it's been the defense that's been the dominant force, gives them good field position. Like you said, this is the first time they're going up against a legitimately really good football team, and I think you're going to see Oregon overwhelm them. I'm going to bet on the Big Ten over the Big 12 champion this year.
The next game on January 1st is Indiana versus Alabama. I don't have a lot on this other than I just think Indiana's a better team.
Yeah, I
don't think that Alabama's going to be able to do anything offensively, especially with their running game. It's been so bad, guys. Recently, they've had nothing going in their running. It's all going to come down to, can Ty Simpson get back to who he was early in the season? He's also struggled a bit more recently. He's just making some bad decisions. I don't have that fear with Fernando Mendoza. He's going to make sure that he puts his team into a good position to have success. And Indiana's defense, I think, is slept on. Now, one factor that could show up here, they're going to be without one of their best defenders because of that freak accident that took place as he was shaking the hand or slapping hands with the crowd after the Big Ten championship game. But I still think Indiana wins. I think they cover, and I think Bama goes home, and Bama fans are furious after watching this game.
Demands for Kalen DeBoer to leave start. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't see any chance where Alabama's in this one. I think Indiana's the better all-around team. I think they're the best team in college football. And Alabama, they barely kind of got through that first round of it.
Yeah, I consider taking Indiana -7 in our Pick'em challenge. I think they win this game easily, and I find it weird that the sportsbook have this at 7. Meanwhile, like Bill Connolly, his SPS Plus projections, he's typically in line or a point or two off. He's 7 off on this, which tells me either the sportsbook's got something up their hand that we're missing, or they're just completely wrong. And I think they're wrong. I think Indiana is the best team, and I think they're going to make life living hell for Ty Simpson.
Yeah, Bill Connolly's projections have this 31-18 Indiana. They've got them winning by 13 points in this game. All right, last one here. Ole Miss versus Georgia. T-Bone, I know how you feel about it. I'll go ahead and let you kick off. Ole Miss, without their head coach, previous head coach, it's such a massive hill to climb for them, in my opinion.
And Chambliss and Lacey got banged up a little bit in their quarterfinal matchup. We don't know the status. It sounds like Lacey's going to play, but we don't know how healthy he truly is. And you give Kirby Smart and this defense a month to prepare for these guys. Like, they could have already written in pen they were going to play Ole Miss. It'd be one thing if Ole Miss had to play another Power 4 conference opponent. You got a little bit of a question on who you're going to play. They didn't have to worry about that. They've had plenty of time. I do think Georgia's peaking at the right time. About 3 weeks left to go in the year, I would have said, no way, Georgia's probably a team that can win the title. After watching them over the last 3 weeks of the regular season, absolutely they can. I think they'd kill Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all... Not all, but you saw them put 41 up on Tulane. Like, oh, they're better than we thought. No, man, Tulane just was bad. And this is going to be a no contest, in my opinion. I think Georgia wins this easily.
We did see this game earlier in the season. It was close. It was a really good, really fun matchup. Ultimately, Georgia won. They were also at home in that game against Ole Miss. I don't think this one is as close. And I think that we will see, since that game, they made a lot of adjustments, especially on the defensive side of the ball, Georgia did. They've basically shut down everybody they've played ever since. And I think that we will see something very similar in this game. Give me Georgia. I like them a lot. So we have a couple of picks that are going to be a little bit different for the three of us, but the late games, we're all on the same page when it comes to Indiana and Georgia advancing to the next round. If you guys want to hear some of those bowls, you'll hear them right here on 101 ESPN as your home of the ReliaQuest Bowl tomorrow, Citrus Bowl tomorrow, and then we'll have Orange, Rose, and Sugar Bowl all on New Year's Day. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. The Junk Drawer is next here on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you to talk about my friends out at Classic Air Care who are here to take care of your HVAC system. They've been doing so in the area since 1926. And this time of the year is when that furnace goes into overdrive for you. And if you've got an older unit like I've had at both of the houses that I've lived in, well, then you need to have the company that's there to take care of it. And maintenance agreement, the program that they offer over at Classic Air Care, man, it has changed the outcome for us with those older units because, typically when it works a lot, it's going to have problems that pop up. And when you're a part of that maintenance agreement, twice a year you have them coming out, checking it, fine-tuning it, making sure it's good to get you through the upcoming season. But on top of that, if issues pop up during those cold winters or hot summers, you call, you get priority scheduling with Classic Air Care. They've got 100 vans out on the road, so they're going to be able to get back with you in about 24 hours, and they're open 7 days a week with after-hour techs on call. So give them a call today, schedule online. Just do me a favor and tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. That's Classic Air Care and ClassicAirCare.com.
Tanner called me a mean name, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. If you want to beat the Blues, everybody else is doing it, you can too. We'll do that coming up here in about 15 minutes. All you have to do, text into the Air Comfort Service text line saying, I can beat the Blues. We will pick 3 contestants at random today. You'll be going up against Joel Hofer, I believe it is, today in Beat the Blues. We'll do that in 15 minutes. Text in now if you'd like to be a part of that. Alex, what do you have today for the junk drawer?
Guys, I had this argument last night with my dad, and I would like your answers on it. Okay. Would you consider New Year's Eve a holiday?
Yeah.
No.
Why not? New Year's Day a holiday?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay, well, we're headed to holidays, which means it's time for dad jokes, boys. Woo! Let's do it, T-Bone. Hey, BK.
I can't believe I didn't even see that coming.
Hey, BK, I always like to visit my local tire shop on New Year's. You know why?
Why is that, Alex?
Because I know it's going to be a good year. Hey, why should you stand on your left foot, only your left foot, during the countdown on New Year's Eve?
Why is that?
So you can start the new year on your right foot.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? That one was pretty good. That was pretty good. Knock, knock, T-Bone.
Who's there?
Razor.
Razor who?
Razor glass and toast to a happy new year. Wow! Why should you put your new calendar, T-Bone, on your freezer?
I have no idea.
So you can start the new year off in a cool way.
Oh, dang, I should have seen that one.
What group hates New Year's Day?
What's that, Alex?
The cleanup crew in New York.
That one's probably true more than a dad.
How does it seem like it's
it makes sense,
I think
actually.
a guy in New York listened and went, hey, I got to do that.
Yep. Knock, knock, BK.
Who's there?
Howie.
Howie who?
Howie going to stay up late tonight?
Alex is actually asking that question tomorrow.
Talking about I have to be up. I got to be up till at least 12:30 for Blues.
What time is that Blues game?
8 o'clock.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 right here on your home of the
Darn
Blues
right.
101 ESPN.
All right, final one for you guys, because I know T-Bone loves these, and I don't want to get him too excited. Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Why is that?
So they don't crack each other up.
That's a New Year's Eve one?
I don't know. It was the one I had.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, it's BK and Ferrario here on
I need
101
another one. I'm
ESPN.
not going out on
All
that.
right, give us one more.
What did one confetti say to the other confetti?
What's that?
Pull yourself together.
Yeah,
That's how you end it.
In 15 minutes, we'll get to beat the Blues, but coming up next, our friend, the Blues insider for The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, joins us here on BK and Ferrario. Alex, Underdog Unwrapped is still taking place. Download the app today if you haven't done so yet. Be sure to get in on all of the action. You can make your entries and win money right now in Missouri on the Underdog app. Today, I'm just going to give you a brief sampling of some of the promos that I've got going. A 10% snowball boost, which bigger boost with every single entry that you put in. You've got a discount on a bunch of different NBA players that are in action this evening. 50% profit boost, a 30% NHL boost, a 30% soccer boost, all of that ready to go for me on the Underdog app. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for?
And he's right. That's only a few. He's got like 25 more of those over on the Underdog app. Download the Underdog app today. Use promo code BKO to score $75 in bonus entry when you play your first $5. That's promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Alex, I've got good news. Bergeron was out of the lineup last night. Based upon the practice lines today, back to the top line.
Well, as we all know, because I said it here on BK and Ferrario, it was going to be the best waiver claim that the Blues have ever made.
Logan Mailloux, not a great night for our guy last night.
Yeah, rough one.
He's an extra at practice today. We'll talk it all over with Jeremy Rutherford, Blues insider for The Athletic, as he joins us now via the Callier and Thompson hotline. JR, appreciate the time as always, man. Any surprises with the line combinations and defensive pairings that you saw today?
No, I don't think so. I think that, people can say, how can Bergeron go from out of the lineup, a healthy scratch, straight to that top line? But I think the one thing that we all have to understand is, he's going to be a top line player or second line player if he's going to be here. And that's when you're without a couple of the injured players like a Holloway. Like, Bergeron isn't going to come in and you just put him on that fourth line and that's where he's going to find his home. That's just not going to be the case. So his skill lends itself to, where the Blues got him, and that's where Jim Montgomery sees fit in terms of the line combination. So that's where he was back today, as you mentioned.
So, JR, we've had this conversation, and I know we talked about it on the Last Minute Blues podcast, which, by the way, is available for you now up on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. But Jim Montgomery talking about Jordan Kyrou last night, only getting 4 shifts in the third period, how he wasn't doing what he needed to stay on the ice. Do you feel like Robert Thomas and Pavel Buchnevich are kept at the same standards that the coaching staff is having for Jordan Kyrou?
I think it's hard. Like the easiest answer to give you is no when you look at it in terms of Kyrou's been a healthy scratch and he played 4 shifts. There have been periods this season where Robert Thomas didn't play a lot of shifts either. It just isn't as noticeable. I know fans have said that Pavel Buchnevich should have been scratched at some point along the way, and he wasn't. So I think the answer you probably have to give is no. However, I think when you're looking at it through the coach's eyes, what do you bring to the table? And we can look at Pavel Buchnevich and say, he's had 10 chances at the doorstep and whiffed on them, didn't convert, and say, at some point that has to earn you a healthy scratch when you're not executing. But maybe they're seeing other parts of his game where they think he's bringing something to the table. We've asked Jim Montgomery this question that you're asking, and what he says is, look, the way that Jordan Kyrou impacts a game is he puts anxiety on the opponent, and he's not doing that. And when he's not moving his feet, primarily is when that's the situation. And last night, that's what Jim Montgomery said. Jordan Kyrou not moving his feet, not skating. We didn't think that it was his night, so we didn't give him as many shifts. So along the way, could they have scratched Thomas and or Buchnevich? Would that make people happy? Would that have turned those 2 guys into better players, giving more effort each night? I don't know. I just know I did ask Jim Montgomery a couple minutes ago, is it tough to balance how to keep those guys at a high standard, those top guys? And he said, yes, it is. So it's not something that I think is clear cut. Everybody has the answer. It's a hard thing to do, and Jim Montgomery acknowledged that.
JR, in the last 6 weeks, the Blues have scored more than 3 goals. I believe it is 3 times. It's just not a team. This is just not a team that has a whole lot of goal scoring prowess. I thought they would have more than this. I didn't think they were going to be, among the elite in the NHL, but have you seen any theme that has emerged in why they are struggling to score goals this year?
It's got to be because they're struggling defensively, and everything starts back there. And I know you can say cliche, but literally when you're giving up goals at the alarming rate that they have been most of the season, it's just impossible to get into any sort of a flow, get the offensive zone time that you need. And then when the Blues have had that zone time, they're looking for that perfect shot, and they're taking too many passes, and they're not trying to score the ugly goals. And then you start to lose confidence. And then when you see 3 guys sitting at 8 goals for 3 weeks, and Jake Neighbors, who's missed a couple, a month, come back, and he's still tied for the team lead in goals, it just creates a situation where they're not producing offense whatsoever. But I think for sure the answer to your question is the struggles they've had defensively. They know that they have to sit back. They have to try to protect the house. They have to do those things because that's what the coaching staff is preaching. And until they got that figured out,
there was no chance of them being able to, score at the rates that we thought they could.
Can we do a quick BK game among us? You ready for this?
What do you
Alex?
got?
These are dangerous, JR. Don't fall for it.
The Blues have 1,000 shots on the season. They have 1,000 shots on the season. That is good for 24th in the NHL. By the way, only 25 fewer shots than the Toronto Maple Leafs. We don't have to talk about them today, but oh boy, not going well.
Good spot to be in.
How many more shots do you think the Colorado Avalanche have than the St. Louis Blues? Again, the Blues have 1,000 on the season. They're 24th. How many shots do you think the Colorado Avalanche have on the season?
They have
This
2,000
could go both
more.
ways.
I'd say they have 2,000 more.
I'll go 500 more.
I'm going to say, I'm going to do the price. I'm going to say that it's lower. I'm going to say that it's 15, but their shooting percentage is obviously much higher. Their power play is better. Put me in at 1,500.
1,300. They have 1,300 shots. Next best in the NHL is 1,235. They have 300 more shots in 2 fewer games.
And have what? Scored like 50 more goals than them? Jeez.
It's absolutely ridiculous what
can't
this team
continue.
is doing. JR, they have lost twice. The Colorado Avalanche have in
Unreal.
regulation this season. You've been covering this league for a really long time. Is this, I mean, it's got to be one of the best teams that you've seen in person, right?
Absolute buzzsaw. Anytime you have two of the top players in the world, you have a chance to put together something like this. And McKinnon, I get, Connor McDavid, the skill level, you watch it, you're just wowed. But McKinnon, he's actually my favorite player to watch just because you can see the work on the ice. And when he gets lapping around that offensive zone like a vulture, you just know something's going to happen. And so he's so fun to watch. And then, that's not even talk about, Cal McCarr. And when people saw that Quinn Hughes trade, even the Kachuk brothers on their podcast, they said he's the second best defenseman in the world. They were giving him mad props. But when they do that, they're telling you that Cal McCarr is the best defenseman in the world. So it's amazing what the team's been able to accomplish. We just asked Jim Montgomery a similar question, BK. We said, just what was it like that year in Boston when you set the record for most points in a single season? And you just go to the rink knowing every night you're going to win, because that's what Colorado's doing. And he said, it's just amazing feeling. You don't know how it's going to get done. You don't know who it's going to be. You could have back-to-back games and absolutely no legs, but you know that they're going to come to play and get the job done. So, who you compare them to? I mean, you almost have to go back to Monty's Bruins team a couple years ago.
That was the last team in the NHL to have this many wins through the first 39 games of the regular season. In fact, they actually had more wins. The Colorado Avalanche have 29 wins so far this year. The Boston Bruins had 31 wins in their first 39 games.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado's on pace to just have 71 wins. And I mean, think about that. That means they've lost 11 times in a full calendar year. Jared, one more I wanted to ask you, kind of ties into Colorado. Obviously they don't have McKinnons or McCarrs, and that's why Colorado has so much success. But, I asked Steve Ott last night, the positive, you saw Robert Thomas create that offensive opportunity shorthanded, and he said, yeah, that's great, but we need to start scoring. We need somebody to step on the ice and kind of take the game. Do you believe they have a player on their roster that can do that?
Not right now. I believe that they have players capable of it who are not doing that. And you get to a point where if it's 2-3 years in a row where those guys aren't taking over games like they have the skill level to do, then you wonder if they actually have it inside them to do that. So for years and years, guys, we've talked about it. The Blues are built on the sum of their parts. Doug Armstrong's, acknowledged that. And for years, they've gotten a lot of production from multiple lines and guys who, as Doug Armstrong always says, they're not paid like superstars, but they're paid handsomely, and it's worked. But you have a situation here last season, this season, where some guys, we saw some guys like Thomas put up points, Kairu's, 35 plus goals. But last night, I don't know about you guys, did you have the feeling that somebody was going to go out there and pump that goal in? And no, you don't. And so I think that's a situation. Even if, Robert Thomas, hey, listen, some of those breakaways he's going to score, some he isn't. But I don't think anybody gets the impression that whether it's he or Kairu on a breakaway in that situation, like the superstars in this league, that they're going to pump that one in and it's going to tie the game. So at this moment, the answer to your question is no.
JR, we appreciate the time as always, man. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. Appreciate you being such a big part of our show this year. Happy New Year. We'll talk with you again soon, man.
Happy New Year, guys. Thanks.
Absolutely. That's Jeremy Rutherford joining us as he does each and every Tuesday here on BK and Ferrario. Really appreciate him hopping on with us. All right, coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to get into our NFL weekend look ahead, some of the biggest storylines across the NFL leading into this weekend. It can be a bit confusing on who's actually playing for something and who's not. So we'll try to make heads and tails of all of that coming up in 15 minutes. Next, it's time for Beat the Blues. Can you beat the Blues? Joel Hofer is our contestant today. We've got Donnie, Brian, Dave, all going up against Hofer this afternoon. We'll play a game next year on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Happy to be back for Beat the Blues this week. Joel Hofer is our contestant. If our winner, Donnie, Brian, or Bob, is able to beat Joel Hofer, they'll go home with a signed hockey puck and tickets to see the Blues versus the Lightning coming up on January the 16th. It's a very simple game. We will give you 15 seconds to name as many different things as you can within a specific category. If you have the best margin of victory against Joel Hofer, you are going home with our prizes today. We begin with Donnie. Donnie, how you doing today, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing really well. Let's see. Donnie, do you know the rules of the game, my friend?
I do, yes.
All
I
right,
thought you
Donnie.
were going to check and make sure this wasn't Donnie from The Point.
Just saw this.
Donnie, are you from The Point?
I am not.
Okay, good.
Just saw this on the text line. We had Dave as one of our contestants.
Dave texted in.
He texted in, I can beat the Blues. We texted back, you're in. What's your name? And T-Bone then texted, we tried calling. Sorry, moving on to another listener. And Dave said, sorry, I got pulled over for a U-turn.
Oh, Dave! No!
So that's why Dave is not able to participate today. Dave, sorry, appreciate you listening,
Dave, you
buddy.
should have told the cop to just give you a second, all right? So come back in 5.
All right. What would have been worse is if he was like on the phone and that's why he got pulled over.
Worse, that's content. I would have loved that.
All right, Donnie, you're going up against Joel Hofer today. Your category, holidays. Name as many holidays as you can in 15 seconds. On your mark, get set, go.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, Easter, Good Friday, St. Patrick's Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day.
9. Look,
Donnie,
at this
I'm not
guy.
going to give you St. Patty's Day and St. Patrick's Day, buddy.
Why?
You get one or the
I
other.
get that.
Well, maybe certain people only celebrate St. Patty's Day, and St. Patrick's Day is the big one.
It was a good performance by Donnie. We'll see if Joel Hofer knows his holidays as well.
So we got New Year's, we got Valentine's Day, we got Father's Day, Mother's Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, my birthday,
Nice.
Christmas, Halloween, Remembrance Day.
All right, so that's 10 for
we give
Joel
him his
Hofer.
birthday?
Yeah, we're giving him everybody's birthday is a holiday.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wasn't off on my birthday. BK didn't even remember my
Well,
birthday.
you chose
We're not
not-
off for New Year's Eve either. I
New
guess
Year's Eve?
technically we are actually.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
but we're
say.
not supposed to be. We argued for it. I'm giving him birthday because
agree.
birthday's a holiday.
I'll give him birthday as well. It's the holiday
tried,
season.
Donnie.
Let's go ahead and give him one. That's a -1 for Donnie. So
Man, I
it's
hope
still,
somebody doesn't win with 0 and Donnie gets screwed on
Yeah,
that one.
stick around, Donnie. Stay on the line. We'll see if anybody else is able to actually go head-to-head with Joel Hofer and take him down. That was a really good performance by Joel Hofer there.
Joel's always locked in.
All right, Brian
the number
is
one
next
goaltender.
up going against the starting goalie for the Blues right now, Joel Hofer. Brian, appreciate you being a part of the show, man. How you doing today?
Doing good. Last night, actually, while we're watching the game, I have a Bennington jersey, but I wore the other one because Hofer was playing. I have 2, and I told my wife, I looked at her and I said, you know what? I need a new Blues jersey for Valentine's Day with Hofer on the back. That way, when they're playing Bennington or Hofer, I can be wearing the
That's smart.
matching. So.
Nailed it, Brian.
I think that's the way to go.
Nailed it, Brian.
You could also just go with any other skater, and then you're just good.
You might need
Basically every night. That's another option, and then your
You're
choice.
just a jerk, man. That's what you are.
If you were going to buy a Blues jersey today, what would you go with?
I'm just trying to get a jersey for Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Brian, Brian, hold on there, Brian. No, hold on.
If you were buying a jersey,
Broberg.
Alex, today,
Broberg.
who would you go with?
Broberg.
Yeah.
I'd go Snuggerud.
Snuggerud's a good
okay.
one. Snuggerud Neighbors would be another really good one.
I'd go Adam Yurchek.
You don't even know what number he wears, man.
Yeah.
Not yet, but I'd project it.
You buying a jersey
I would
with
buy
an
a
empty
27 because I know that he's probably going to be with the team starting in 2027.
Actually, the smart play to do with jerseys is just buy a retired player's
There you
jersey
go.
because you know he'll never go to another team.
Just go Pronger.
Yeah, Pronger, McKenna.
Oh, McKenna.
Yeah, I made the mistake of getting an Eric Johnson one the day he was drafted first overall, and that one's got some dust collecting on it, and then in the old closet. All right, Brian, let's figure this out here, Brian.
All right, Brian, you're going up against Joel Hofer today, a man that you're hopefully going to have his jersey here coming up on Valentine's Day.
Thanks for listening.
You will also potentially have a signed puck by him and tickets to see the Blues versus the Lightning a few weeks prior to Valentine's Day.
I would have said hopefully instead of hopefully. Hopefully.
Brian, do you understand the rules of the game, my friend? Brian, do you understand the rules of the game?
Rules. I listen every day. I'm actually, BK, me and you've gone back during the baseball season with Cardinal baseball because I'm a big Cardinal fan. But, yeah, I know all the rules. I listen to you guys all the time. You guys got to
Brian, thanks for listening, man. We love you as a listener. This isn't story time. Let's get on with the game.
Wow.
Guys.
Your
I already distracted enough with the jerseys.
That's right. Your category today, name as many things as you can that you can put on your head. Things that you can put on your head. On your mark, get set, go.
Sunglasses, toupee, hat. Wow, this is a hat. Other than hat, baseball cap. I don't know if you call it hat with hat.
I'd say hats and baseball caps are a little different.
Yeah, I would. I got him for what, 4?
Yeah, I got 4.
All right.
What do you think, Alex? You got 4?
He might be able to run with that.
Yeah, I'll give him 4. I love you, Brian.
All right, Brian, well done, my friend. We'll see if that is able to get you over the top for Joel Hofer. If nothing else, we wish you the best with your quest to get that Joel Hofer jersey. Let's hear from Hofer himself.
A hat, a toque, a wig, sunglasses,
good night, Brian.
a sombrero, bandana.
Oh, baby. Yeah, sorry, Brian.
What else?
I got 6 for.
I got 6 as well. That's a -2 for our guy, Brian. But, Brian, we appreciate you being a part of the show, man. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Well
and
done.
always thanks for listening. You keep on listening, Brian. We love you, man.
All right, last one up here going against Joel Hofer today is our guy, Bob. Bob was a late addition, as unfortunately our guy, Dave.
Dave is just sitting on the side of the road right now.
Yeah, he was pulled over.
No Uis, Dave.
Hopefully everything's going all right.
Bob, do you like to do Uis on the road?
All the time.
There, easy there, Bobby.
All right, Bob. We appreciate you being a part of the show, man. Do you understand the rules of the game?
Yeah, Hofer sounds like a trained killer.
He is.
More or less, yes. All right, Bob, your
All I got to do is get one right. I got to get one more than Hofer.
You've got to at least match Joel Hofer.
I don't think he understands the rule, BK, so why don't you tell him?
If you match Joel Hofer or get one more than him, just match or better, you are going home with a signed hockey puck by Joel Hofer and tickets to see the Blues versus the Lightning on January the 16th. If you do not, unfortunately for you, Donnie is the one that will be going home with all of that. All right, Bob, your category today, you'll have 15 seconds to name as many tools as you can. Name as many tools as you can. On your mark, get set, go.
Hammer, vice grip, screwdriver, wrench, crescent wrench, hacksaw, saw, chop saw, and hawk gun.
Did you say salt gun? I'm not
pop gun. Is that what you?
Okay, well that's not a tool, regardless of that. You could have said anything though, Bob, because PK would have been like, "What's that?"
Yeah, more or less.
So I had 8 because I'm not gonna, unless you guys are gonna give him pop gun. I'm not giving him pop gun for a tool.
I said caulk gun.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
thing.
well
Caulk gun.
Stop cussing on the air, Bob.
9.
Easy with your words, you will get jumped.
All
Okay,
right,
so
Bob
9.
got 9.
Caulk
Let's see if Joel Hofer is familiar with his tools.
A hat, a toque, a wig.
That's the wrong one.
Jeez.
T-Bone's going to try this
Take 2.
one more time.
Screwdriver, hammer, a ratchet. Did I say a wrench? Sledgehammer. I don't know if that's the same thing. Chainsaw.
Oh, 6! Bobby!
The late edition Bob is going home with the signed hockey puck by Joel Hofer and ticket to see the Blues take on the Lightning coming up on January the 16th. Bob, well done, my friend. You can indeed beat the Blues.
You're a trained killer, Bob.
Right on. All right, man. First time, like the first game of the season.
Yeah,
Love
right
to
on,
see
Bob.
it.
Bob, stay on the line. We'll get all of your information. We'll take that all down for you as you are going home with the signed hockey puck and take a see the Blues versus the Lightning coming up on January the 16th. If you missed out on your opportunity to beat the Blues today, next week we'll have another chance to do so. We'll be back on our normal Friday routine of playing Beat the Blues. We'll do that right here on BK and Ferrario, right?
I think we played on Thursday.
Edition of Beat the Blues.
We don't play
Justin
this one. We're
Falk
at
signed
17.
puck on Thursday.
Justin Falk will be our contestant next week.
Falketeers join the club.
Oh, the Falketeers, man. That's going to be...
Are they still running? They still up and
They're
running?
always running, man. He's got 10 goals this season. The Falketeers run wild.
He's actually been really good for the Blues, and it's nice timing for them because if he's going to be a trade asset, it turns out if you trade your highest goal scorer on the team, you might be able to get a little bit in return.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
And
No,
right now,
no further explanation needed.
Justin Falk is number 1 on the Blues in goals so far this year, and he is 3rd in points. Do you know who's 2nd in points on the season, by the way?
On the team?
Mm-hmm. Number 1 is Robert Thomas. He has 29 points this year. Number 3, as I just mentioned, is Justin Falk with 20. Do you know who is 2nd on the Blues in points this season?
Is it Neighbors? No, it's not Neighbors.
I was
He's usually got 10
genuinely
goals.
surprised to see this. Jake Neighbors is 4th, tied with Dylan Holloway, by the way.
Is it Pavel Buchnevich?
Pavel Buchnevich is 2nd on the team in points this season with 21 in 40 games.
He's picked up assists. The problem was he wasn't scoring any goals. Like, he's consistently had the assists. He's just never scored.
Yeah. So there's that. All right. Coming up next, we'll get to our NFL weekend look ahead here on BK and Ferrario.
Taryn Hendrickson here. The Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues fell to the Sabres last night. They will be back in action tomorrow night as they visit the Colorado Avalanche. We'll have pregame coverage tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock with Alex Ferrario, then puck drop at 8 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an Icon Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. Let's dive into our NFL weekend look ahead. We begin with Saturday's games. And Alex, these are pretty straightforward. It's why they're the standalone games on Saturday. Saturday at 3:30, it's Panthers versus the Bucks. On the Panthers side of things, super easy. If they win, they are the NFC South champion. I can't believe that I'm actually saying this right now, but it's true.
Bryce Young, believe, baby.
The Bucs side of things is a little bit trickier. If the Bucs win this game, Alex, and it's going to sound weird, but it's true, they need the Falcons to lose to the Saints in order for the Bucs to win the division. So it can't just be Bucs win and in. Bucs win and Falcons lose gets them in.
And if Falcons win, then the Panthers still get in.
Correct. Because a three-way tie based upon the tie-breaking process in the division would go to the Panthers based upon some of the criteria. So that is the Saturday early game, 3:30 game between the Bucs and the Panthers. What's at stake? Now that you know the stakes, they've been presented. Who do you like in this game, Alex?
Panthers.
I do too.
I'm done with the Bucs. I think the Bucs defense isn't good enough to get stops. Their offense has taken a step backwards, and I think the Bucs need to get a new coach in there. So I think the Panthers win this one.
The Bucs have won one time since Halloween.
Yeah, weren't they like 7-0 going into Halloween?
They were 5-1 and
really
6-2 going into their bye.
By the way, that Survivor pool I won again last week, so one loss.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's all it takes.
Thanks a lot, Bucks.
I also lost one time this year. Mine was a little earlier.
I forgot to submit last
T-Bone also lost one time.
T-Bone, who do you like? Do you like the Panthers? I don't like the Panthers, but I like them better than the Bucs this weekend.
That's kind of how I would describe it. I don't like the Panthers, but I think they're better than the Bucs right now. Whatever's going on with Tampa Bay feels like the head coach is being fired at the end of the year. You can't have this kind of collapse down the stretch and not fire your head coach. So, yeah, I like Carolina. I don't think you got to worry about the Saints game this weekend.
On the late game, this one's super easy to describe. Winner of Seahawks versus 49ers is the number one seed in the NFC. Can't give much higher stakes than that. Winner gets to have a week off in the postseason, and they avoid a 50-50 proposition of playing against, I don't know, the 49ers, Rams, Packers, etc. in that first round, which does not sound overly fun. Alex, who do you like in this game?
Man, I've continued to push back on I don't like the 49ers and I don't like Brock Purdy, but I think I like the 49ers on this one.
Agreed.
They're playing motivated football. McCaffrey and Purdy, Jawan Jennings, like they just have the pieces. Is George Kittle coming back into this game?
That's their hope. We'll see.
And part of me wonders if you just rest him and try and make sure he's 100% for. But as much as I think the Seahawks are a good team, I think the 49ers are better.
Yeah, I'm leaning 49ers as well. BK brought this up in the pick'em. Sam Darnold's a guy I don't trust when it gets to the big games. And I know he played well against the Rams on that Thursday night game 2 weeks ago. But I expect to see him struggle again. I don't think you're going to see the Seahawks offense put up a ton of points. In San Francisco, man, Shanahan was in the laboratory against the Bears. I think he's going to have something dialed up for the Seahawks, and they're going to win this game.
The consolation prize really isn't so bad because since the Rams lost on Monday Night Football last night, your team, T-Bone, God bless it, that was a terrible performance.
We get it.
That was embarrassing.
John Robinson ran all over them. Watching that game made me curious about Jeremiah Love on the Chiefs, and I know it's a bad idea, but I kind of want it because I want to be able to do that.
Your team stinks, man.
I should have seen they were going to lose that football game because I said, I think yesterday, it had to be yesterday because I was off last week, The Rams can't stop a team that runs the football well. It's what killed them in the playoffs last year with Saquon, and it's what's killed them this year in a couple of games as well. So I should have seen that coming.
They had so many times where they had hands on Bijan Robinson.
They're not tough enough down low to stop the run, and that's where they've got to really bulk up in the offseason.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because since they lost on Monday Night Football, whoever loses between the Seahawks and the 49ers will be the 5 seed in the NFC, which means they get to play against either the Panthers or the Bucs in that first round.
Easy win.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. That's almost certainly going to be a win for one of those two teams. So it's not the worst thing in the world, and that goes back to what you were saying, Alex, about potentially resting George Kittle this week to just get him back fully healthy for that first round.
Don't waste him in a game like this where the Seahawks could make it nasty.
All right, on Sunday, we do have some legitimately meaningful games. As I mentioned, the Falcons versus the Saints is weirdly important for the NFC South race, potentially. If the Bucs win on Saturday, it's still not a guarantee that they get into the playoffs. They would need help from the New Orleans Saints in order for the Bucs to be able to get in. Beyond that, a few compelling games still. The Texans could use a win in order to figure out what their playoff seeding is going to be, much like in the NFC. It would be nice to get that number 5 overall seed, and if the Texans are able to win on Sunday against the Colts, I think they will, they will end up as the 5 seed going up against either the Steelers or the Ravens. So there is some incentive for the Texans to go all out in that game. Other games of significance. Let's start with the Denver Broncos. They play at home against the LA Chargers. The Chargers are not expected to play Justin Herbert in this game because they apparently don't really care about their seeding, whether it's 5, 6, 7, whatever. They just don't care.
6, 7.
The Broncos can can land the number 1 seed with a win against a Justin Herbert-less Chargers team. I understand why the Chargers are doing this. I get it. Herbert's been banged up all year. Get him a week of rest going into the postseason next week. Does it really matter that much if you play against New England, Jacksonville? Maybe not. I kind of hate it. It's a division rival, and you're just handing them the number 1 seed, whereas if you were to beat them this week, they would potentially have to play again next week. I don't know,
I get that
I get it. You have to worry about yourself more than you worry about your divisional rival, but
that's where I'm at.
It just doesn't.
You're not winning a game in the playoffs if Justin Herbert isn't 100%. And against the Broncos defense that's going to make it painful for you, yeah, I understand you want the competitiveness, and I totally get it, but I side with the Chargers here. Rest him because you need Herbert to be at his best if you want to beat any of those teams. Because you actually, if you match up with the Jaguars, I think you've got at least a shot. Because I don't know what Trevor Lawrence is going to look like in the playoffs. I think the Patriots, you're not going to have a chance, but I get it. You got to make sure he's 100%.
Yeah, I think it's smart. I think you have to not play him.
I just hate it.
He wants to have fun in Week 18.
Like the Patriots are trying to get the 1 seed, shouldn't have suffered that loss to the Bills when you were up 21.
Yeah. But I also get the Patriots one, too. I mean, make sure Drake May locks up the MVP. He's had a hell of a season. Get him one more year so nobody can get close.
The Patriots one is a little different. Patriots can still technically get the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
They will play at the same time on Sunday. Both of them play at 3 o'clock. Chargers versus the Broncos. Patriots versus the Dolphins. Patriots at home in this one. If they win against the Dolphins, Patriots, and the Broncos lose, it's not happening. But if the Broncos were to lose, Patriots would be the number 1 overall seed. So you at least have to try, and then you get to the second half. If you see, hey, Broncos up by 20 points against the Chargers, you probably pull Drake May. So if you're doing daily fantasy or something this weekend, I probably wouldn't play Drake May just because you don't know if he's even going to participate in the second half of that game. There's not a whole lot of incentive to do so. The Jaguars are interesting to me, Alex. They are a 12.5-point favorite, and they play at noon. So they will not know what happens with the Broncos or with the Patriots. They won't know what happens behind them. If the if the Jaguars beat the Titans, the Broncos lose, and New England loses, the Jags are the number 1 seed in the AFC, guys. I think the only thing of that happens is the Jaguars win. They've got the Titans. They're at home. I think they'll probably win that game. But beyond that, I don't think anything else happens there. Do you guys? Who do you think will end up as the number 1 seed? You think the Broncos land this?
You're not losing. You're not losing to the Chargers without Justin Herbert.
So you think we'll get Broncos 1, Patriots 2, Jags 3, and then that would probably land us with Steelers or Ravens 4, Texans 5, Chargers would drop down to 6.
And then Buffalo 7?
Or excuse me, down to 7, and Buffalo would be at 6.
So Buffalo would get the matchup with the Patriots then.
Buffalo
Jags.
in this scenario would get the Jags, and the Chargers would get the Patriots.
I thought you said Patriots were in second.
Patriots are 2. Because the Chargers are likely going to lose this week.
That's right.
They would drop down from 6 to 7. The Bills would bump up from 7 to 6 in the standings. And the Bills this weekend play the Jets. So I think they're probably going to win that
by
one.
7 or more.
So that's what you got on the AFC side of things. On the NFC side of things, we all think the 49ers are going to win.
Yeah.
So that would have the 49ers in as the 1 seed. The Bears potentially as the 2 seed. They've got the Lions. T-Bone, I don't think I've asked you. Do you like the Bears in that game?
I do. Yeah, I think what you said earlier. Did you pick them, if I remember correctly?
I did, yeah.
I agreed with everything you said. The only reason I just stayed away from it, how much motivation do the Bears really have? That's the one question I have. But yeah, I don't see the Lions getting enough stops.
The Eagles are the 3 seed right now, and this weekend they play against the Commanders with Josh Johnson most likely getting the start in that game against that Eagles defense that we saw last week. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles in that game. We've all got the Panthers as the 4, and then Seahawks dropping down to the 5, Rams as the 6, Packers as the 7. So we would end up with Packers versus Bears in the first round. We would
Bears
have
are gonna win that.
Eagles versus Rams. That is not something I would look forward to if I was a
I'm
Rams
not looking
fan.
forward
Your
to
team
it.
that's the Super Bowl favorite might get the boot.
That loss was brutal for the Rams on Monday Night Football. Absolutely excruciating because they could have gone up against the Panthers or the Bucks in that first round.
Peed down their leg, T-Bone.
And instead, that loss, and the Panthers lost too earlier this season.
By the way, I'll say this. If you wanted to see a sign of like red alarm bells going off inside the Rams facility, McVay playing his starters next week was the tell of that. McVay knows they're not playing good football right now, and he's
I don't
worried
think he's
about
going
it.
to, by the way.
I think
he's lying.
No, I think he's playing them.
The full game?
Maybe not the full game if they look good in the first half, but if they don't look good in the first half, I think he'll play them the full game.
Yeah, I think they'll play the first half and then I'll get him out of there. I don't think they're actually going to. I think this will be treated like a preseason game.
I think him doing that is very telling of how he feels where they're at because he would not. I thought for sure he wouldn't do it. And to see him announce immediately after the game, yeah, we're playing our starters next week, tells me that, hey, he knows they've got a lot of work still to do.
Text line making sure to keep us honest. That guys that can still play against the Bucks or the Panthers, do more research. They can still get the 5 seed. I know. We were going through our scenario that we were just
all
presenting.
Caps too. Jeez.
Where the 49ers in this scenario beat the Seahawks. If that doesn't end up taking place, the 49ers lose. I would have to look up the specifics. I do believe, though, that the Rams would end up as the 5 seed. So it's all dependent
Go
on
Seattle.
others. All you had to do, though, was beat the Falcons on Monday Night Football, and you take that out of their hands.
That's a really
then
tough task,
you take
though.
care
They had-
of your own business.
They had Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, brutal.
A defense that has been locked down all season.
By the way, I would have gone for 2 on that after that touchdown for the Rams.
I would not have because there was so much time left.
The reason my thought process behind it, and I don't know if this would have held true or not, if you go for 2, you convert it, you're up by 1. I think it forces the Falcons to be a little bit more pass happy than turning to Bijan more, as they did. And that's where I knew they weren't going to get a stop.
2 minutes left. They had so much time.
I think they might have been a little bit more pass happy still.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, look at their coordinator. Their coordinator didn't even put Bijan in for the final 3 plays.
I know.
It's not like I'm talking about a genius running their offense over there.
No, you're right. But at that
Sorry,
point,
I had to get that off my chest.
They were. Yeah,
I just like how you guys get into fights all the time about going for it on 2 points, and now he's defending not going for it.
Because I'm in favor of. There was 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. I'm in favor of doing it when there's like 14 seconds left. If you score with very little time remaining, the other team just has so little opportunity to be able to make that up. And this scenario, it changes things a lot. But, you know, tomato. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. We'll put a bow on this show this week, this year, coming up next here on 101 ESPN.
BK over on the Underdog app. We're past Christmas, and I'm still getting gifts. I open it up, big present waiting for me. It's a 10% snowball boost because Underdog Unwrapped is still taking place, and you'll unwrap tons of different promos throughout the holiday season. It's boosts, gimme picks, deal reveals, and even some surprises sprinkled in. So stick with me here. I got a big one, but it's going to pay you a lot of money. We're going to the NHL, and we're going with shots on goal for these plays. I'm going higher on Jackson Blake, shots on Crosby, Marchand, Suzuki, Bratt, Nyes, Schaefer, Tippett. That's right. There's 8 of them. But with that snowball boost, BK, 77-1 odds.
And don't forget, we are getting close to the NFL's playoffs. Alex, you know, one of my favorite things to do is NFL playoff best ball. I think it's an unbelievable format. A few years ago, I won $5,000 by doing this. You can win big time money with the playoff best ball. You can also make your picks, win money over there on the Underdog app. Be sure to download it today. Use our promo code. That's BKO, promo code BKO to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. It's promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older, present in Missouri. Terms to apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. If you guys missed anything from today's show or any show in 2025, they're all available for you at 101ESPN.com and the free 101 ESPN app, and they are all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Company.
It's been awesome to continue to build this show here in 2025. All of us, I believe, are signed up, ready to go for 2026 as well. So the hope, the belief is that we will all be in studio ready to go for you starting next Monday. We're excited about that. We just got the ratings today. You guys have allowed us to be the second highest rated show in the midday slot. Can't thank you enough for that. It's a true honor to be able to do this show each and every day. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do is talk about sports for a living, and I can't believe every day that they allow us to continue to do this. Every day we walk in and they keep saying, yeah, we'll pay you to do it. I know many of you hate listen. That's okay.
Hey,
we appreciate you being a part of the show and listening as well. For any of you that also love listening to the show, it's an awesome community, and we cannot thank you enough for making what we do possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream to get to do this in the market that I was born and raised in. And the fact that every time I go out somewhere, I know I have the persona that I don't like to talk to people. But when somebody says, hey, I listen to your show all the time, I am happy to stop and talk to those people.
Turn around and go the other way?
No, the headphones come off when that happens.
Feel free to talk to me. I'll talk to you.
This is truly an honor. Like BK mentioned, it's something I have wanted to do since grade school, high school, when I started to get into broadcasting. And the fact that I not only get to do it in the market that I grew up in, but also get to be a part of the Blues with pre and post games, it's a dream come true. So every year I'm amazed at the response that we get, and I hope we can continue to make it bigger and better every single season.
You know what? Here's hoping to 2026. The Blues go on a run. The Cardinals' rebuild isn't as bad a rebuild as we think, and they win those 85 games BK was talking about yesterday.
The first part changed.
And the Battlehawks win the UFL.
Oh.
And City's at least competent at playing soccer. Cheers.
I just hope that the Blues get a first overall pick. That'd be great.
Whoa.
Oh, well, man, I want a star for 2026.
Perfect way to finish out the year from the 3-1-4. So you guys are second out of the two sports shows in the mid-afternoons.
Oh, damn it. Come on.
No, sir. Second out of every radio show in the market in our target demo from 11 to 2. So thank you for tuning in and being a part of the show. Always appreciate you guys doing that. We have Andrew Marsh coming up next, leading the fast lane for you guys. They'll be live from 2 to 6. Alex will be back in tomorrow. Blues versus Avs pregame from Alex's basement begins tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Puck drop for that one tomorrow at 8. For Alex, for T-Bone, I'm BK. Have yourself a happy new year. Please be safe. Please be smart. Do not drive if you're going out and drinking. Call yourself an Uber. It will save you a bunch of time.
He's free.
It will save you a lot of money. It will keep everybody safe. We'll talk to you guys in the new year. Happy New Year. We love you. Fastlane's coming up next.
Team.